A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Jerry of the Circus. For Jerry of the Circus.
Hello, Mr. Randall. What you doing around here? Watching Rags' act?
Well, now, I hadn't thought of it. Guess it's a pretty good idea now that you've reminded me.
He's got a new trick that's a fifth.
I'm glad to hear it, Jerry. As a matter of fact, I'm hanging around to see Patsy's new stunt.
Well, of course. I should have thought of that.
Hi, Mr. Randall. It looks like we're in for a big blow.
I hope not, Bill. I noticed the wind coming up after lunch.
There they go in their walk around now.
Mm-hmm.
Gee, I bet Rags is glad to be working again.
You think he missed it?
Oh, I'm sure he did. He used to whine and cry like a baby if I didn't bring him around the backyard during the show.
Dogs are certainly funny.
There he goes now. Gee, he's sure great. Hey, did you see that somersault, Mr. Randall?
Can't say as I did, son.
Oh, gee, you shouldn't have missed it.
I'm looking at those swings and ropes and trappings hanging from the top of the tent.
Where? Oh, good night. Look at him swing.
I'm afraid that wind's getting pretty heavy.
Hey, what about Patsy's new trick?
I know. That's what I'm doing around here during the show. Well, now let's see how Rags is doing.
Oh, gee, he's most through. Here they come now.
My golly, that dog jumps like...
Patsy says he jumps like a kangaroo.
He does, is that. Pretty cute dog. He's getting to be quite an attraction.
It was sure nice of you to let him work with fun.
Oh, no, it wasn't. I don't put things into my show to be nice to people, much as I'd like to. After all, my first problem is to please the audience.
Of course.
So they have to come first. If I find something good, I put it in because I think the audience will like it.
And if the audience doesn't seem to like it...
I take it right out again.
Then I guess Rags is pretty good to still be allowed to work. Oh, Rags, your act is over. I'm ashamed of you. What'll Mr. Randall think?
He certainly knows how to beg forgiveness.
It's almost... Well, sometimes I just think I can't say no to him.
I can see how hard it must be. Where'd Bumps go?
Guess he went right to the wagon to change.
Mm-hmm.
He often does when I'm here to pick up Rags. Oh, gee, here comes Patsy now. Hi, Patsy.
Oh, how are you, Mr. Randall?
Fine, thank you. Patsy, about that new act of yours.
Yes, Mr. Randall?
It's a pretty bad wind.
Oh, I've worked in winds before.
I know, but don't you think it's a bad time to try out a new act?
Well, you've announced it in the programs, haven't you?
No, yes, but that doesn't matter.
Oh, yes, it does. When you promise the public something, you've got to give it to them.
Not if I risk hurting any of my performers.
Oh, now, don't you worry, Mr. Randall. I've had the net, so there's no real danger. I've certainly been in the business long enough to take any fault if necessary.
Yes, but I don't want you to.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Randall Brothers Circus takes great pleasure in bringing to you that renowned little artist, Patsy of the Air. This gorgeous little lady, for the first time, will bring to her public a new and hazardous trick. Mademoiselle Patsy, in her latest and most spectacular feat of the air.
Golly, Mr. Randall, She's pretty, isn't she?
Pretty and clever.
And brave.
Mm-hmm.
Looks kind of little out there all by herself.
But that one misses over.
Well, she's taken off the road.
Mm-hmm.
Gee, the audience sure likes her.
Yeah, of course they do.
Yeah, I wonder what she thinks about when she lets go of those trapezes and turns in the air before catching on to the other rod.
I asked her that once, Jerry.
Oh, what did she say?
She says she always wonders if she left the trapeze swinging straight.
That's funny.
Not a bit. It's the natural thing for her to think about.
Well, why?
Well, if she's left it perfectly straight, it'll surely be right for her return trip as she flies across that great empty space.
Oh, of course. And if it's twisted, I suppose it might swing kind of uneven.
And she'd probably miss.
Golly, must be an awful lot to remember up there. And look, she does it so easy, just like flying.
That's why she's the greatest little aerialist in the business. But she's been training at it since she was a baby.
It must be time for that new trick.
Yep.
Mr. Randall.
Yes, Jerry?
The wind's coming up again. Look at those trappings.
I know.
She's ready.
Yeah.
What's wrong? Why is she waiting?
Oh, nothing. She's just waiting for that trapeze to right itself.
Golly. There she goes. Mr. Randall, she slipped.
Oh,
gee, she fell. Golly, look at her bouncing that net.
Yeah, I was afraid of that.
Yeah, but why even in rehearsal she never slipped? She took her fall nice anyhow.
I bet she did.
She sure climbs up there fast.
You can't keep the audience waiting too long.
She's going to try it again.
Yeah.
Honest, I'm as scared as if I had to jump off that platform.
Guess I'm sort of nervous myself.
There she goes. Gee whiz, a somersault and a half turn, and another somersault. Oh, gosh, what a shame. I'll bet she feels terrible.
And she couldn't help it that time, Jerry. That canvas top blew her trapeze off at an angle.
Gee, Mr. Randall, don't you think she ought to stop trying?
No, she can't now. It's too late.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, when you once start a trick in front of your audience, you have to keep on until you get it right.
But when there's a wind...
No, it doesn't matter. Either you mustn't attempt a trick or else you must keep at it until you do it right.
But that seems awful.
Well, Mr. Randall's right, Jerry.
Oh, hello there, Mr. Bradley. I didn't see you. Gee, Patsy's having an awful time.
She's ready. Good.
2 somersaults and 2 half turns. Oh, what a...
Boy, she made it. She made it, Mr. Bradley. Oh, boy, she is here, Mr. Bradley. Gosh,
Quiet, Jerry. Quiet. Not so loud.
I'm sorry. Be quiet, Rag. Oh, Jiminy Willikers, that was something. Aren't you proud of her, Mr. Randall?
She's a grand little trooper. Fine performer. Of course I'm proud of her, Jerry.
A gifted little lady. Oh, youth. How wonderful it is to be young with the whole world at your feet.
Here she comes now. Oh, Patsy, you were wonderful.
Nice work, Patsy.
Oh, Mr. Randall, I'm so sorry. I missed it twice. Well, I haven't done a thing like that since...
My dear child, it was all right. With that wind blowing, all those trappings around, it's beyond me how you made the performance at all, let alone a new turn.
Oh, but twice to fall. I feel terrible.
Let me be the first to congratulate you, Miss Patsy, for a truly great performance. Why, in the face of great adversity, you never for a moment lost faith.
Mr. Bradley, you go on here.
What's that? Oh, yes, of course, Jerry. Oh, you see, even my faithful friend Lulu is at my heels ready. Oh, alas, I fear the years are taking their toll.
Oh, he's a dear.
Yeah, and I'm afraid he's getting pretty old for this kind of life. If it weren't for...
For what, Mr. Randall?
I'm afraid I can't tell you. It's personal, regarding only Mr. Bradley and his son. And I'm afraid this will be the last season I'll be able to let him stay.
Oh, Mr. Randall, but Mr. Bradley...
I know, my boy, but remember what I told you about the public. They are the first to be considered.
Oh, but they love him. Do you listen to them?
You're right, Patsy. He's a grand old trooper, and I'm proud to have him with us.
Jerry?
Yeah? What is it?
Whitey's calling for you. You need some help. The wind's doing some damage, and the horses are nervous.
Gee whiz, I'll be right there. Say, goodbye, Mr. Randall. I got some work to do.
Oh, goodbye, Jerry. He's a great little kid, that.
Jerry? Oh, he surely is. And thrilled to death when there's something he can do.
Patsy.
Yes, Mr. Randall?
I want to thank you for your nice performance this afternoon.
Oh, but I...
You didn't let me down, and you didn't let the audience down.
Oh, but Mr. Randall...
Yeah, I know. You think you didn't give a finished performance. That wasn't your fault.
I know that, but still...
As a matter of fact, you know this business well enough to know the advantage of falling now and then.
Oh, you mean it makes the audience think the trick is harder?
And
when you finally do it, they think they've seen something more difficult than it really is.
That's it. Now, I've never gone in for fooling the public that way. Lots of show folks do it as a matter of routine.
Yes, I know.
But when it happens, because of things we can't help...
You mean that it made it even more exciting for the folks?
Exactly.
I was too upset to think about that, I guess.
Yeah, so you see... Now, you just stop worrying. Get to your dressing wagon and rest.
Thanks, Mr. Randall. You know, I think you're one of the nicest people in the world.
Well, Patsy...
And I'm proud to be working for you. Goodbye.
Well, I'll be...
Mr. Randall. Mr. Randall.
Oh, why, Johnny, what's the matter?
A catastrophe has just occurred.
Well, now take it easy, old man, if it can't be as bad as all that.
Oh, but it is. The worst. What I have always feared has befallen me.
Oh, now, Johnny, please, what's this all about?
You remember my telling you all about my son?
Why, yes, of course. Well, funny, it crossed my mind a little while ago.
Well, he's here today.
What do you mean?
He lives here in Jackson City, and he...
You mean he's out in the audience?
Yes, out there. It's the first time it's ever happened. Oh, but why would he be here in the afternoon?
That's right. Yes, you say he's a lawyer. Perhaps he had a day off.
But he takes his work so seriously. Oh, but that's all quite beside the point. What am I to do?
What do you mean?
Well, I can't... No, I just can't go on again, Mr. Randall.
Why, nonsense, Johnny. He'll never recognize you. Not in that crazy costume and that face painted on.
No, of course not. But the Shakespearean act, that I cannot do.
I don't see how he could possibly recognize you.
Oh, but he will. Oh, you don't understand, Mr. Randall. Dick was brought up in the theater. His whole boyhood was backstage. He knows my old Shakespearean roles almost as well as I do.
Oh, I think hearing you in those lines would...
I assure you, Mr. Randall, he couldn't fail to recognize me. He knows how I read every line I've ever played. He was brought up hearing me rehearse from the moment he woke up till he fell asleep in my dressing room at night.
I hardly know what to say.
Would you let the boy go on? Oh, please. He knows enough of the lines, and after all, it's a matinee.
I know, and mostly children. They wouldn't appreciate the act as much as the adult audience anyhow.
May heaven shower you with blessings, Mr. Randall.
Jack, run over to the horse tent and tell Jerry to come here as quick as possible.
Yes, Mr. Randall.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Randall. I'll never forget this as long as I live.
Well, that's all right, Johnny. Now, you don't think there's any danger of this happening again?
Oh, no, I'm sure there isn't. You see, now that he's caught the show, he won't come again. And, of course, once we leave Jackson City behind us...
there's no danger of his recognizing your name in the program?
No, Mr. Randall. You see, I didn't give you my true name.
Oh?
It's John B. Grayson.
Not the Great Grayson?
Bradley was my mother's name, sir.
Well, I can hardly believe my ears. The Great Grayson, a clown in my circus.
But you'll never breathe a word of this.
On my word of honor.
He's gone, Mr. Randall. Jerry left the horse tent a few minutes ago.
Well, find him. Get all the men to search the grounds at once. Jerry must be found. He's got to go on in Johnny Bradley's place in 15 minutes.
Jack Benny Program.
At 49 American.
Quality of product is essential to continuing success.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
LSMFT, LSMFT, LSMFT.
Right you are.
Yes, sir.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. And in a cigarette, it's the tobacco that counts. Mr. Lawrence Holland Moore of Shelby, North Carolina, who has been an independent tobacco buyer for 28 years, said,
Year after year, at auction after auction, I've seen the makers of Lucky Strike buy ripe, sweet tobacco, the kind that makes a really good smoke. I've smoked Lucky's myself for 23 years.
Independent tobacco experts like Mr. Moore know that it takes fine tobacco to make a fine smoke. And Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. So for your own real deep down smoking enjoyment, smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike.
American.
The Lucky Strike program starring Jack Benny with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Rochester, Dennis Day, and yours truly, Don Wilson. From New York City, that body of land that was purchased from the Indians for $24, we bring you a man who could have gotten it for $22.50. And here he is, Jack Benny.
Thank you. It's going to be hard to work and look at that face over there. Thank you. Hello again. This is Jack Benny talking. And, Don, I can't tell you how thrilled I am being in New York.
Oh, I know just how you feel, Jack. In fact, the moment we arrived in town and I saw the reception we got, my chest swelled out with pride.
Don, from where I stand, your stomach is even prouder than your chest. Well, there's something about this city that's different. No matter how many times you come to New York, you get a feeling of expansion, of growth. The trees look taller. The buildings look taller. Even the mayor looks taller. It's amazing.
Now, wait a minute, Jack. The mayor is taller.
What? You mean LaGuardia found out about Adler's shoes?
No, Jack, no. LaGuardia isn't mayor anymore. New York has a new one now.
Oh, really?
No, O'Dwyer.
Don! Oh, wait, let's not steal jokes from Danny Kaye. You know, I've got 4 writers.
Oh, really?
No O'Para, no Balzer, O'Tackaberry, and O'Guzzle. Now, where were we?
Well, I was just telling you that O'Dwyer is a lot taller than LaGuardia.
Well, maybe he is, Don, but after he chases fire engines for 12 years, his legs will be worn down, too, believe me. So you never can tell. Oh, hello, Mary.
Hello, Jack. Hello, everybody.
Mary, I was just telling Don how thrilled I am being back in New York.
Well, I don't blame you, Jack.
Yes, sir. There's something about New York that's invigorating. Why, the minute I got off the train at the station, I felt stronger.
Is that why you put on a red cap and carried your own bag?
I just did that for a laugh.
A laugh? And how come you went back and carried somebody else's bag?
When I get a laugh, I'm not letting it go, sister. And anyway, those other bags belong to a very important man.
Oh, really?
No, O'Dwyer, and shut up. Say, Mary, have you been having any fun in New York?
Uh-huh, but I've been spending most of my time in New Jersey visiting my mother.
Oh, yes, your mother. How is the William Bendix of Plainfield?
Oh, Mama's fine, but Papa's having a lot of trouble getting up the stairs.
Why?
Mama keeps throwing him down.
Sounds a little like Titus Moody in there, that one. I can understand. Anyway, Mary, how's the rest of your folks? I mean, how's your sister Babe? She get married yet?
No, Jack, and Babe's heartbroken about it. You know, last week she was going to elope with a new boyfriend.
And what happened?
She couldn't get the ladder up to his window.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, so she threw him a rope.
Oh, that's good.
No, he took another look at Babe and hung himself.
There's the sister right over there. Oh, that's too bad, huh?
No, that's good. Now she's engaged to the Undertaker.
Oh, really?
No, Shapiro.
Now, cut that out! I merely asked you how your folks are. You make a whole mishmash out of it.
Yes, and the people who tuned in late didn't mishmash.
Every time we come to New York, you...
Hey, Mr. Benny, I'd like to have you meet a friend of mine.
Oh, hello, Dennis.
Hello. Say, Mr. Benny, I'd like to have you meet a friend of mine.
How you feeling, kid?
Fine. Say, Mr. Benny, I'd like to have you meet a
You
friend
having a
of
good
mine.
time in New York?
I sure am. Me and this friend of mine went out all over town, and we had a lot of fun. I showed him how to jump over fire plugs, and he showed me how to hitch rides on the back of trolley cars.
I don't know where you pick up... Where's your friend?
Right out in the hall. I'll go and get him.
Dennis and his friend. Say, Mary.
Here he is, Mr. Benny. Isn't he cute?
Dennis, they found the other 499 monkeys. Take this one back to the pet shop. Imagine picking up... Quiet. Imagine picking up a monkey for a friend.
No wonder he was teaching Dennis how to hitch rides in the back of trolley cars.
I fell off twice.
What?
I couldn't hang by my tail.
Dennis, stop being ridiculous. Where'd you meet this monkey?
Well, I was walking along, and I saw him standing on the corner waiting for a light to change.
Oh, for heaven's sake. Mary, tonight after the show...
So I took him by the hand and helped him across the street.
All right. Mary, tonight after the show...
Then I started to sing, and before I knew it, we had $40 in nickels.
$40 in nickels?
Jack, stop shaking that monkey.
Just trying to take him out of the upper brackets. He is kind of cute. Come here, monkey. Coochie-coochie-coo. Coochie-coo. Oh, look, it jumped up on me.
Dennis, quick, get the monkey off Jack's shoulder.
No, he's all right.
Well, at least move his tail. You look like Jerry Colonna.
Jerry Colonna?
What's the matter? You crazy or something?
Dennis! Stop being silly. Now, take it easy, monkey. Just sit on my shoulder.
Hiya, folks. Harris is here. I couldn't get a room, so I slept last night with Grant in his tomb. Lay it on me. Make with that New York patty cake. Hey, Jackson, what's that thing you got on your shoulder?
Well, it's a monkey, a real live monkey. Come on, get down.
Well, what do you know? Where'd you get it, Jackson?
It isn't mine. Dennis picked it up last night. Isn't that silly?
I don't know. It looks better than what you picked up the night before.
Oh, yeah? She was a pretty classy dame.
Yeah. Say, were those her legs or were her stockings filled with walnuts?
Bill, one more crack like that and you're going back to California.
When's the train leaving?
I don't know. I'll call Truman and find out. So watch it.
Say, Phil, have you seen any shows since we got to town?
Yeah, Liddy, I saw Are You With It?
Are You With It? That's the show that two of Jack's writers wrote.
I saw it 12 times.
12 times?
Jack's got the candy concession there.
Lemonade. Down to my last sugar stamp, too. Oh, well.
What other shows have you seen, Mr. Benny?
Call Me Mister.
I did.
Call Me Mister is the name of a show.
What happened to Are You With It?
Nothing. Dennis, you're getting dumber every day. Take last week with the quiz kids. Such confidence. You came to me and said, don't worry, Mr. Benny. I'll pull you through to ultimate victory.
That's right, Dennis, and we ought to thank Mary. She's the one that pulled us through to ultimate.
Bill, that's ultimate victory. Ultimate is an adjective.
Why not?
Bill, if I thought for a minute that this monkey could lead an orchestra, I know who would go back to the pet shop. Now, come on, Dennis. Let's have your song, will you?
Gather lilacs in the spring again and walk together down a shady lane until our hearts have learned to sing again. Now home once more, and in the evening let you go. Your eyes will tell me all I want to know. Now that I'm home once more, by the firelight glow, I'll hold you close and never let you go. Your eyes will tell me all I want to know. Now that I'm home once
That was We'll Gather Lilacs, sung by Dennis Day, accompanied by Phil Harris's orchestra, which was conducted by Dennis Day's friend who used his tail for a baton. And very good. And now, you're welcome. And now, folks.
If my mother knew I was doing this, she'd kill me.
I won't tell her, Bob. That's our producer. We made him a monkey for today. Very few producers can be monkeys, you know. And now, folks, for our feature attraction tonight. Oh, Don, would you mind answering the phone?
Oh, certainly not. Hello, this is Don Wilson talking for Jack Benny, the star of the Lucky Strike program. LSMFT, LSMFT. Yes, sir, you bet.
Don.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco, so round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
Don, find out what the man wants.
Lucky Strikes are made of that fine, that light, that naturally mild tobacco.
Don, it might be important. It's a phone
For
call.
real
Find
deep
out
down
what the
smoking enjoyment, smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike. What? Oh, I'm sorry. You have the wrong number.
Don, the next time you answer the phone, ask who it is first. Then, tell them all about Lucky Strikes and everything, And now, folks. Oh, darn it. Come in.
Telegram for Jack Benny.
That's my writer. He's from Brooklyn. Everybody works on the show. Take it, Mary. Here you are, boy. Here's a tip for you.
Oh, boy, a glass of lemonade.
You'll suffer. You wrote that joke yourself. I just happen to have one in my pocket, the lemonade. I'm going back to that. Who's the telegram from, Mary?
Fred Allen.
Fred Allen? What does it say?
Dear Jack, I am expecting you as a guest on my program next Sunday. I'm sure you'll be there, as I haven't had any luck all season.
Isn't that sarcastic?
Sounds like an adjective.
Dennis. But imagine the nerve of Allen after he came over to my hotel and pleaded with me, begged me, even offered me money to be a guest on his show. Then he sends a wire like this.
Jack, do you mean that Allen came to your hotel and begged you to be on his program?
Oh, Don, I don't even want to discuss it.
I'll tell you what happened, Don.
Mary, please.
I happened to be over at Jack's hotel, the Acme Plaza. 500 rooms, 3 baths.
Mary.
And I thought nylon lines were long.
Now, Mary.
When I got into the hotel lobby, the elevator wasn't working, so I had to walk down 4 flights of stairs to get to Jack's room.
Mary, they're not interested in this thing.
Anyway, I got through talking to Jack and was just about to leave. Jack, what'd you want me to come by your room for?
Well, we're going home next week, Mary, and I want to take something back for my girlfriend, Gladys Zabisco. What would you suggest?
Well, why don't you get her a nice beaver coat?
No. That's too expensive.
Well, how about a nice sealskin coat?
No. That's a little too expensive, too.
Why don't you just get her a rowboat and a harpoon and let her do her own shopping?
I did that once. She got seasick. I'll tell you what, Mary. Just pick out anything you like. You'll know what to get. No jewelry or furs.
I know. Goodbye.
All right, so long. Be careful going up the stairs. Yeah, I hope Mary picks out something nice.
Oh, boss, I filled the tub for you.
Thanks, Rochester. Rochester, have you got everything ready for my bath?
Yes, sir. Towel, soap, talcum powder, bath mat, bath robe, bath salts, and your 2 little celluloid ducks.
Fine. And Rochester, I didn't think it was a bit funny last Saturday night when you put tacks in the bottom of the bathtub.
Those were bath salts. They hadn't disintegrated yet.
Disintegrated?
That's a verb.
Oh. Well, they were sharp as an adjective. Well, I think I'll go in for my bath now. See you later.
Doggone, this hotel room sure is a mess. That was some party the boss threw last night. Coca-Cola flew like wine. I've never seen the boss so merry. He slapped his sponsor on the back so hard he swallowed his cigarette. Lucky strike, that is. And when Mr. Benny got up and told that story about the octopus, I thought I wonder who that can be. Come in.
Hello, Rochester. Is Mr. Benny in?
Well, Mr. Allen. Come right in, Mr. Allen. Mr. Benny's taking a bath. He'll be out in a few minutes.
Well, I'll wait for him. How is Mr. Benny feeling, I hope?
Pretty good. That is, considering the big party he threw last night.
Mr. Benny threw a party? Gad, the atomic bomb, and now this. What was Gromiko's reaction, Rochester? Tell me, was the party a success?
Yeah, what a soiree. There was sandwiches, music, and dancing.
Well, it's a soiree. That's a conjunction, isn't it? Well, it sounds as though everybody had a good time.
Yeah, Mr. Benny enjoyed himself so much he said next time he might invite girls.
Oh, it was a stag party.
Up until 11 o'clock, then the night maids came on.
Well, that's Benny, the chambermaid's pin-up boy. He's just as democratic as ever. Failure hasn't gone to his head. Say, Rochester, will you tell Mr. Benny I'm here?
Yes, sir. Why don't you just sit down and make yourself comfortable? Here's one of Mr. Benny's favorite books, I Stand Condemned.
Oh, that's the story about the man who goes to the electric chair and leaves 3 lovely children, cream, cheese, and bagel. I hear Lindy selected it as the book of the month. They give you a smoked herring for a bookmark. With the quarter size, they give you an anchovy bookmark. Well, Rochester, I'm through ad-libbing. You can tell Mr. Benny to come out now.
Oh, he'll come out just as soon as he can think of something funny to say.
Well, I can't wait that long. Tell him to come out in pantomime, if you will.
Yes, sir. Boss, you've got company.
Who is it?
You'll be sorry.
I'll be out in a minute. Rochester, what are you... Well, Fred Allen.
Hello, Jack.
I was just taking a bath.
Well, that's good, Jack. I think everyone should have a hobby.
Yes, you want to know something, Fred? Those pens do right underwater. I found
They do, really?
Boss, you better put your robe on. You'll catch cold with just that towel around you.
Oh, I'll be all right.
Gosh, Jack, you've gotten sort of fat, haven't you?
Don't be funny.
Your hips have jowls, I notice.
Well, honestly, Fred, you haven't changed a bit. Same hair, same forehead, same eyebrows, same eyes. Fred, lift those bags a little. I want to see your cheeks.
Put on your red cap and lift them yourself.
I will not. Fred, what's the reason for this friendly visit?
Well, Jack, hang on to your towel. I've come to ask you to be a guest on my radio program.
Oh. Well, gee, Fred, I'd love to be a guest on your show, but I can't. I already have a date for Wednesday night.
For Wednesday night?
Yes.
For your information, Mr. B, I do my broadcast on Sunday night right after yours. And when the wind is from the opposite direction, I must say I don't mind it at all.
What did you say?
If you'll take that celluloid duck out of your ear, you'd hear me.
Oh. Well, Fred, give me the details about going on your program.
Well, Jack, I thought as long as you were here in town, you might like to appear on my show. Get in off of the street for a little while someday.
Well, listen, if you're going to ad-lib, do it on your own show where you need it.
You can use it, too, don't forget it. You could have used me 10 minutes ago. I was listening.
Really? If we keep on much longer, McCarthy will be on, make a monkey out of both of us. That's 1/8, that is, you know.
Of course, about coming on the show, I'm willing to pay you.
Pay me?
Yes. Stop trembling and pick up your towel.
Oh. Well, look, Fred. Fred, as long as this is a business proposition, let's discuss it. Sit down. Here, have a cigarette.
Thank you. Have a tea bag.
Oh, boy, my favorite brand. Now, Fred, just what makes you think I'd consider appearing on your program?
Well, I saw your ad in the Hobo News.
My ad?
Yes, the ad that read, "Now in town, Jack Benny. Available for theatrical dates, guest star appearances, and for 2 shillings will meet English brides at the dock if husbands are detained. Must receive portal-to-portal pay."
Oh, that ad? That was just put in the papers as a gag by my press agent.
That gag killed him in Chicago and paid Mr. Benny's fare in New York.
Rochester, I didn't know you were still here.
In a one-room suite, where else could I be?
Well, Mr. Allen and I are having a private conversation. Now, Fred, let's get back to business.
Well, Jack, I'm stuck. I had another guest for next week, but she couldn't make it.
Who was this other guest?
The one
Said
and
he
only...
who still hasn't had a joke on the whole program.
You're reading the wrong lines, a straight line? My guest is the one and only Marcella Crudney.
Marcella Crudney?
Yes. You haven't heard of her? She's with the New York Yankees. You see, the Yankees have a pitcher whose specialty is the spitball. On hot summer days when the pitcher might run dry, Marcella stands by.
Oh, her!
Yes, her. But she was suspended for spraying an umpire. Marcella was at work, a zephyr came up, and need I say more? Anyway, Jack, when Marcella couldn't make it, I tried to get John Charles Fido, the singing dog. But he had laryngitis.
I see, so you finally got down to me.
Down is right. Why in the world did you ever take a hotel room that's so far underground as this?
Oh, Fred, my room isn't so far underground.
It isn't. I came into the lobby and got the bends. And then I kept walking downstairs until I was stopped by John L. Lewis. Mr. Lewis put a lamp on my head and said it's okay for 2 weeks.
Well, I'm glad he put the lamp on because that's the first bright thing to come from your head in years. That last pack was for Maria Cooper. Did you hear that, Maria? Good. And now, Fred, while we're discussing this, let's have a bite to eat. I'll call room service. Hello, room service, please. Yada-dee-da-dum, da-dee-da-dum, da-dum, da-dee-da-dum. Hello, room service? Please send down 2 Acme Plaza special dinners. Right away, please. Thank you. Now, Fred, look, why can't I appear on your program this Sunday night instead of next?
Well, I'm sorry, Jack, but I have my guest star for this week. He's your band leader.
You mean Phil Harris, Shoe-Fly Pie, and Apple Pan Rowdy?
Yes, you see, Jack, around this time of the year, Maestro Al Goodman begins to worry about his options. So I thought I'd bring Harris over tonight and give Mr. Goodman confidence.
I see, but I better warn you about rehearsing. Phil. He'll have to memorize his script.
You mean Mr. Harris can't read?
Only the labels on bottles. When he graduated from school, everybody else got diplomas. He got a sheepskin corkscrew.
Well, look, Jack.
Don't stop me, I'm rolling. Or I thought I was when we wrote it. Now, go ahead.
Rolling? How can a square roll?
Lucky for you, there's going to be a knock on the door, or I'd answer that. Thank you. Come in. Well, here's room service with our dinner. What's on the menu tonight?
Pickle in the middle and the mustard down top. Just feeling like a
Good old hot dog.
Yes, Coney Island crepe Suzette.
2 hot dogs, please.
Purple puppies coming up. Would you like them Senator Claghorn style?
Senator Claghorn style? What's that?
They keep repeating on you.
No, just give them to us plain. How much are they?
Well, now, this one is 10 cents, and this one is 8 cents.
Well, why is this one only 8 cents?
I already took a bite out of it.
And why didn't you finish it?
Taste it.
Never mind. Here's your money.
Thank you. Pickle in the middle and the mustard on top. Just the way you like it in the hole.
Well, Fred, here's your hot dog.
Thank you. It was nice of you to keep the 8-cent one for yourself. And thanks for the lemonade, too. Well, Jack, I've got to run along now. I'll see you on my program next Sunday.
Wait a minute. We haven't discussed money. How much are you going to pay me?
Well, now, let's see. The union scale for the average radio actor is $67.50.
What?
However, you're the star of your own radio program. That would bring it up to $69.75.
Now, look.
Of course, you're from California, and you're not as well known here in the East. That brings it down to $68.
Wait a minute. You've forgotten I'm in pictures.
Oh, yes. That brings it down to $47.60.
Now, Fred.
We'll have to hire 3 people to start your applause.
I'll furnish them.
And the guy that yells, "You'll be sorry," gets $15.
Now, Fred, I'm not going...
You better think fast, Benny. That singing dog just had pups, and I can get a quartet of Cocker Spaniels for nothing.
Okay, I'll take it. I'll be on your program next week.
Not so loud. I don't want to lose my listeners.
You lost the line already. So we don't lose the listeners. Why, you delicatessen Taranti, you've got less listeners than the Siamese twins with one of them out of town.
What are you talking about? I've got more listeners than you have hair in your bureau drawer.
Why, you nasal nitwit, I wouldn't work on your program if it was the last...
$25, take it or leave it.
What time is rehearsal?
2 o'clock Sunday, and goodbye.
Imagine chiseling me down like that. If it wasn't money, I'd refuse it.
Jack will be back in just a minute. But first, here is my good friend, F.E. Boone.
At 49, American.
Remember this all-important fact. In a cigarette, it's the tobacco that counts. And Lucky Strike means fine tobacco.
Yes, it takes fine tobacco to make a fine cigarette. And year in, year out, at market after market, the makers of Lucky Strike consistently select and buy that fine, that light, that naturally mild tobacco.
And this light, fine, naturally mild Lucky Strike tobacco means more real, deep-down smoking enjoyment for you. Remember, Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. So smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
The famous tobacco auctioneers who are on tonight's program are Mr. F.E. Boone of Lexington, Kentucky.
At 49, American.
And Mr. L.A. Speed Riggs of Goldsboro, North Carolina.
American.
And this is Basil Rysdale speaking for the makers of Lucky Strike. LSMFT, LSMFT, LSMFT.
Common sense will tell you that in a cigarette, it's the tobacco that counts. And Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. So for your own real deep-down smoking enjoyment, smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike.
Hello?
Say, boss, will you need me during the evenings next week?
I don't think so. Why?
I got a chance to do a little extra work at the Zanzibar nightclub starting Tuesday.
Oh, the Zanzibar. You signed that contract, huh?
Uh-huh.
Did you speak to them like I told you to?
Yeah, but I'm sorry, boss. They want me to work alone.
Oh. Well, we'll be down to see you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Good night, folks.
NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
Good health to all from Rexall. Yes, it's Sunday, time for the Phil Harris Alice Faye Show, presented by the makers of Rexall Drug Products and 10,000 independent Rexall family druggists.
Good evening. This is your Rexall family druggist taking a little time from behind the prescription counter this Sunday evening to speak for all 10,000 of us. the 10,000 independent druggists who have added the word Rexall to our own store names. You can always tell us by the orange and blue Rexall sign on our windows. The sign means that we carry the 2,000 or more drug products made by the Rexall Drug Company. They range all the way from aspirin to penicillin, and they're as fine and pure and dependable as science can make them. We independent druggists recommend them to our customers because we know you can depend on any drug product that bears the name Rexall.
Good health to all from Rexall. And now your Rexall family druggist brings you the Phil Harris Alice Faye Show, written by Ray Singer and Dick Chevrolet, with Elliot Lewis, Robert North, Janine Roos, Ann Whitfield, Walter Sharp in his music, yours truly, Bill Foreman, and starring Alice Faye and Phil Harris. This morning, while Phil was sleeping, Mr. Scott of the Rexall Company called and told Alice that he was going to drop in and see Phil about a matter of importance. Phil has just come down, and Alice is relaying Mr. Scott's message to him.
He didn't say what he wanted, Phil. He just said he'll tell you when he gets here.
I wonder what Mr. Scott has on his mind. Could he be mad at me for something? No. What could I have done that he'd be mad about?
Maybe he heard your show last week.
Well, if it ain't the first daffodil of spring. Little petunia head.
Bill, do you think Willie could be right? Is it possible that the Rexall people are unhappy with the way you're doing the show?
Unhappy with me? Oh, Ruby, relax. Everybody says I'm the hottest thing to hit the airwaves since Jessica Dragonette. Let me tell you something, Willie. Maybe you don't like me on the air, but plenty of people think I'm great. And if you don't believe me, ask anybody. Anybody at all.
Like who?
Like my two kids. Hey, girls, come in here a minute. If you want the truth, ask a child. They'll give it to you straight.
What do you want, Daddy?
Phyllis, I want to ask you a question, and I want you to give me an unbiased answer. Now, who do you think is the greatest performer on the radio?
Mommy.
Let's try it again, and this time put it on the bias. Now, who do you think is the greatest...
Dale, stop waving that $5 bill under her nose. Phyllis takes after me. She has a strong mind, and money won't make her change it.
Try me, Daddy. I take after Uncle Willie. I'll say anything for $5.
Make it 5, because 10 you ain't going to get. Not only that, I don't want you to think that I'm trying to bribe you. I'm not trying to bribe you. You can keep the $5 no matter what you say. All I want to know is who is the greatest performer on the radio... Oh, I better rephrase that. Why take chances? Now, who is the funniest man on the Rexall radio show?
Uncle Frankie.
Give me back that 5, you son. My own children. I'd have done better asking Ozzie and Harriet's kids.
Phil, I don't think this has anything to do with your ability. Perhaps Mr. Scott is a little annoyed with your brashness. You haven't been as respectful as you should be to your boss.
Well, maybe I have been too irrepressible. Maybe I... Uh-oh, that must be Mr. Scott. Well, if it's respect he wants, I'll pour it on. Oh, good morning, sir. I am your humble servant. Your wish is my command.
Don't make me a mint julep, Jeeves.
Oh, it's you, Frankie. Come on in. Mm-hmm. I thought you were Mr. Scott, the sponsor.
If you're going to be nasty, I'll go out again. What's the sponsor coming over here for?
I don't know. It's got me worried, too. You know, that Scott could be coming over here to fire me.
If you don't know, why look at the black side of things? Maybe his coming over here has nothing to do with your job. Maybe it's a simple thing that has nothing to do with the show.
Like what?
Maybe he's in love with Alice and wants you to give her a divorce.
Frankie, I'm in no mood for this time of morning. Let's be serious. Don't you realize that my job...
If that's Mr. Scott, why don't you bring him... Oh, hello, Frankie.
Hello, Alice. Curly seems to be worried about his job, and I was cheering him up.
Oh, Phil, you're being very silly. You're building things up in your own mind without knowing what it's about. Has it ever occurred to you that Mr. Scott might be happy with you on the show?
Oh, Alice, you and your wild ideas.
Well, it's not wild at all. Phil's doing a good job on the show. He's selling lots of Rexall products, and he's helped their business. I think maybe Mr. Scott is coming over to give him a slight increase in salary.
Yeah, that's it. I've helped his business, and in appreciation, he's given me a slight increase in... A slight increase? Why, that ingrate. I triple his business, and all he wants to give me is a slight increase. Why, I never... Well, I'm not going to let him get away with that. Wait till I see him, a slight increase. That's him now. I can't wait to tell him off.
Good morning, Mr. Harris.
You cheapskate! After all I've done for you, you have the nerve to offer me a measly $2 raise.
Perhaps I'd better come back when he's sober. See you later, Harris.
Oh, don't go, Mr. Scott. Please come in.
Oh, very well, Mrs. Harris.
Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Scott. I was a little bit excited. But I can't wait to find out why you came to see me. Now, tell me, Mr. Scott, are you here to give me a raise?
Oh, come now, Clyde.
Well, Mr. Scott, you're not here to fire me, are you?
No, but when I get back to the office, I'll drop it in the suggestion box. No, Harris, no, I am not here to fire you.
Well, then why did you come over? Wait a minute. If you think I'll give Alice a divorce, you're crazy.
Phil, what are you talking about?
Harris, before this gets completely out of hand, I'd better tell you exactly why I'm here.
Well, I certainly wish you would.
Well, I want to ask you if you would be...
What kind of a host are you? You leave me standing inside. Oh, it's the prime rib himself.
Well, if it isn't Remley, the no-talent kid.
That's a pretty nasty remark. So you've come over to fire my pal Curly, huh? Scotty, I'm not going to beat around the bush. I don't like you.
I don't like you.
I just said that. Don't be a copycat.
Frankie, will you please stop? The man didn't come
Curly,
here.
listen, I didn't mind when he fired me, but when he fires my best friend, he's got me to answer to.
Remley, he ain't firing me. Scotty, pay no attention to Frankie. You see, the poor kid doesn't know what he's saying. You see, his mind.
You mean he's...
like a bag of cashews. He's a psychiatric case. Caused by the fact that he hates his father.
He hates his father? I should think it would be the other way around.
Oh, I can't stand the suspense any longer. Mr. Scott, what did you come over to see Phil about?
Well, it's like this.
Mr. Scott, sir. I'm glad to see you, sir. You're looking exceedingly well, sir.
Willie, stop crawling toward him.
William, what are you doing here? Aren't you supposed to be at your desk at the Rexall office?
Well, I just dropped in to see my sister, sir.
On our time? Naughty.
Well, I was just leaving, sir. Goodbye, Mr. Scott. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, Willie.
Good man, that William. He thinks of nothing but the company's interest. It's heartwarming.
I think it's sickening. The way he fawns over you and Rexall.
Remley, you work for Rexall, too, you know. It wouldn't hurt for you to have a little pride in our fine company of 10,000 independent druggists, those men who sell our 2,000 drug products and strive to maintain...
All right, don't drag it out. I got pride in the company.
Have you ever bought one of our drug products?
No.
Well, the least you can do is buy one of our drugs.
What for? I'm not sick. What do you want me to do? Go out of my way to get a malady just so I can use your drug?
Remley, I'm not asking you to go out of your way to get a malady. But if you have a chance at one, don't turn it down.
Mr. Scott, Never mind, Frankie. Look, Mr. Scott, why did you come to see me?
Well, it's about my daughter. Her school is giving a dance, and she's on the entertainment committee, and she insists that your band play for the dance.
Is that all? Oh, gee. Oh, gee, that'll be an honor. Of all the bands to choose from, she picks mine. Tell me, why does she like my band so much?
She's tone deaf. By the way, Mrs. Harris, would you consent to come along and sing a few numbers for the kids?
Oh, it'll be a pleasure.
Oh, thank you. The entertainment committee is meeting at the school gym in about an hour. I wonder if you two would mind coming over to discuss the program with them.
Oh, sure, we'll be over.
I'll be there too, Scotty.
Oh, goody. Don't put yourself out, Remley.
It's no trouble at all. I'll bring my guitar.
Well, we could use your guitar.
You want me to play, huh?
No, but after the dance, they're having a weenie roast, and they'll need some wood to start the fire. I'll see you folks at the gym. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
I think I've been insulted.
Phil, what do you think I ought to sing at the dance? What do you think the kids will like?
They'll like anything you do, honey. Hey, how about the tune you were rehearsing today? You know, the one that goes... Da, ba, ba, da, 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 da.
You better let me do it, Pappy.
Yeah, you can't stand it.
Johnny, get your girl. Tap her on the shoulder. Tap her on the shoulder. Say you'd like to hold her. Johnny, get your girl. Walk her in the moonlight. If you've got no moonlight, talk about a June night. Don't wait for introductions. Don't be so formal. Just step right up and do the thing that's normal. Johnny, get your girl. Tap her on the shoulder. Get a little bolder. Give romance a whirl. Don't let another Johnny get your girl. Johnny, get your girl. Tap her on the shoulder.
Tap her on the shoulder? Gee, now I feel a little bolder.
Say you'd like to hold her. Johnny, get your girl. You gotta walk her in the moonlight.
Well, if the moon is out of view, what's a fella gonna do?
Well, then you just talk about a June night. Don't wait for introductions. Don't be so formal. Just step right up and do the thing that's normal. Johnny, 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 get your girl. Tap her on the shoulder. Get a little bolder. Give romance a whirl. Don't let another Johnny get your
Oh, there you are, Mr. Harris. It's nice of you and Mrs. Harris to come over to the gym. Remley couldn't make it, eh?
Oh, no, he'll be here soon. He went home to get his guitar.
Oh.
Which one of these two lovely girls is your daughter, Mr. Scott?
Oh, they're both mine. This is little Laurie. She's just 8 years old. She sort of tags along after her sister.
Oh, hello, Laurie. How are you, honey?
Oh, I feel fine, thank you. And I always feel fine because I use Rexall drugs to keep me healthy.
Not now.
Daddy, introduce me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Marjorie, I want you to meet Mr. and Mrs. Harris.
Hello, Marjorie.
How do you do, Mrs. Harris?
Hi, Margie.
Hello, Curly.
kids do, and so I thought...
No. Gee, that's all right. Hey, Margie, your dad tells me that you insisted on having my band play at your dance. Why did you pick me?
Who else is there?
Oh, Marge.
Oh, I bet you look keen up there in the bandstand. I can just picture you in a tuxedo. You must look terrific.
Oh, no, I don't.
I bet you do.
No, really, I don't.
But you must.
Marjorie, have you ever seen Curly in a tuxedo?
No, I haven't.
Well, I have, and the boy knows what he's talking about.
Alice, I don't think it's very nice of you to contradict Miss Scott.
Mr. Harris, please pay no attention to Marjorie. She's only 16, and anything looks good to her. Now, why don't you and Mrs. Harris come along and meet some of the other girls?
Oh, Daddy, why don't you and Mrs. Harris go alone? I want to discuss the dance with Mr. Harris. You go with Daddy, Laurie.
Oh, okay. But, Margie.
What?
I don't think Curly's as good looking as you said he was. We'll see you later.
Poor little kid. Only 8 years old, and already she's so nearsighted. Well, Margie, what kind of music would you like at the dance? Now, we can give you a Dixieland, 4-beat, or how about a little bebop with a Lombardo float?
It's not the dance I want to discuss, Curly. May I be brutally frank?
Oh, yeah. Sure. What's on your mind?
Well, I hope you won't misunderstand me, but, well, we moderns believe that curbing one's emotions can result in a serious frustration that tends to impair one's psychological development. Don't you agree?
Yes, allegorically speaking. But perusing it superficially, I find rhetorical. I love algebra, don't you?
Curly, I'll get right to the point. You might not believe me when I say this, but I think you're charming and handsome and the most wonderful man in the world.
Yeah, but what were you going to tell me that I might not believe?
I know I have no right to say this, but I can't help myself. I'm in love with you.
You're in what? With who?
I'm in love with you. You don't hate me for feeling that way, do you?
No. It's a perfectly normal feminine reaction. But Margie, let's face it, this is madness.
Oh, you're laughing at me.
No, honey, I'm not. Honest, I'm not. But you're a little too late, kid. I've already been spoken for. Oh, look, Margie, you just got a schoolgirl crush. You'll get over it. I ain't saying you'll ever be the same again. Don't worry, honey. You'll survive.
Don't you like me just a little bit?
Sure, I like you. I think you're a swell kid, but, well, I'm a happily married man.
Are you happy? Are you really happy being married to an older woman?
She's not that much older than I am. Now, look, if you'll excuse me, Margie, I think I hear Alice calling me. I'll see you around, Margie.
Au revoir, Cherie. Oh, he's so irresistible.
Marjorie, don't you think it's about time you got started? Why, Marjorie, you look sick. What's the matter?
Daddy, I'm in love.
Oh, that again. Well, who's the lucky boy this time?
Phil Harris.
Oh, no.
Daddy, get up off the floor. You're causing a scene.
I won't stand for it. Harris! Harris! Marjorie, you run along. I'll take care of this.
What's up, Scotty? What's all the excitement about?
As if you didn't know, you old roue. My daughter just told me she's in love with you.
Well, it ain't my fault. Besides, what you got to get excited about? She's just a schoolgirl with a crush. She'll forget about me tomorrow.
I refuse to be tortured that long. Harris, if you don't make her fall out of love with you by the time you leave here today, I'll have you barred from radio for life. I'll give you half an hour to do it.
But Mr. Scott. Certainly got the mumbles, ain't he? Oh, why couldn't I have been born homely?
Over here. What's Mr. Scott so mad about?
Oh, Alice, you'll never know I'm in trouble. And I know you'll be sympathetic. Honey, Mr. Scott's daughter is in love with me.
Oh, that poor girl.
Never mind the poor girl. Just think of me. Scott's threatened to bar me from radio unless I can make her forget me before we leave here. Now, look, Alice, you've got to talk to her. Try to convince her that I'm not as wonderful as I am. But, honey, do it in a nice way.
Phil, she's headed this way. You duck behind this post and let me handle her. Go ahead.
Behind you?
Yeah, go ahead. Go on now. I'll fix everything, but good.
Oh, Mrs. Harris, didn't I just see Mr. Harris here? Where'd he go?
Oh, he'll be right back, Marjorie. He just stepped out to adjust his girdle.
His girdle?
Mm-hmm. Middle-age spread. All men get a little paunchy when they reach the halfway mark.
Halfway mark? My mother used to take me to see her pictures.
Mrs. Harris, what do you mean halfway mark? Mr. Harris can't be a day over 30. He doesn't have a wrinkle in his face.
Plastic surgery does wonders.
You mean he's had his face lifted?
Only 4 times.
All I did was go in and get an estimate once.
Mrs. Harris, did he really have his face lifted that much?
Oh, yes. In fact, he overdid it. Last time he had to go back and have it lowered. You know, his nose was lifted so high every time he sneezed, he blew his hat off.
Oh, now she's reaching.
I don't believe you, Mrs. Harris. If he were as old as you say, he couldn't sing the way he does. His voice has such a wonderful quiver.
Upper plate wobble.
Upper plate, I got one lousy little bridge.
Mrs. Harris, I'm sorry, but I don't believe a word you say. You're very fortunate to be married to such a wonderful man. And if he were mine, I couldn't talk about him the way you do. Goodbye.
That's telling her, Margie.
Well, Phil, you can come out now. I'm sorry it didn't work, but I tried.
Oh, yeah, you tried. To hear you talk, you'd think you were married to an old Essex. It didn't do any good either. Oh, Alice, how am I going to discourage her? I can't... Hey, wait a minute, Remley. He's the guy that can get me out of this, Remley.
Hi, Curly. Sorry I'm late, but I had to...
Oh, Frankie, you're just the guy I'm looking for.
Uh-oh, there's dirty work afoot.
Now, wait a minute, Remley. You got to do me a big favor. Mr. Scott's daughter has fallen madly in love with me, And, Remley, you got to take her off my hands.
Oh, no, wait a minute, Curly. I ain't
Now,
gonna...
Remley, if you don't do this for me, I'm going to lose my job. Look, she's over there with those other girls. Just go over and ask for Miss Scott. Make up to her, Remley.
All right, I'll do it for you, but I don't like it one bit. What do you want me to tell her?
Tell her anything. Tell her you're in love with her, can't live without her, and you want to marry her. You know, routine number 3. Lay it on her.
Oh, all right, okay. Things I'd do for that guy. Oh, well, she probably won't be interested. If she goes for Curly, she won't like the Tyrone Power type like me. I'll just tell her that...
Hello, mister.
Somebody talking to me? Oh, you're down there. Hey, kid, maybe you can help me. Where can I find Mr. Scott's daughter?
I'm his daughter. I'm Laurie Scott.
You're... Ooh, I gotta have a talk with Curly. Look, kid, are you sure you're Mr. Scott's daughter?
Yes.
I don't get it, but Curly asked me to do it, so here goes. Laurie, I'm madly in love with you, and I want to marry you. What do you say?
Okay.
Resist me a little, will you? Don't you know you're supposed to play hard to get?
Why? I always wanted to get married, and you're the first one to ask me. Oh, let's have a church wedding.
Look, Laurie, let's not rush into this. I may not be the one for you. Shop around a little.
I don't wanna. I like you. You're funny looking, but you're cute.
Thanks a lot.
What's your name?
Frankie Remley. Why?
Oh, so I can tell Daddy when I ask him if it's all right to marry me?
No, wait a minute, kid. Come back here. Don't tell your father.
Marjorie, you've made me the happiest man in the world. You're sure you're no longer in love with Mr. Harris?
Definitely not, Daddy. Mrs. Harris made me realize that he's pretty old. Why, by the time I'm 30, he'll be almost 90.
Well, I'm glad you saw the light. Now I can face the world again. What a relief.
Daddy, can I talk to you?
Yes, Laurie, what is it, dear?
Daddy, I'm in love.
Well, you're a little too young. Wait a minute. Laurie, please. Please tell me it's not Bill Harris.
Oh, no, it's not him, Daddy.
Oh, thank goodness. Who are you in love with, dear? What's the little boy's name?
Frankie Remley.
Oh, no!
Daddy, come back here. Don't throw yourself through the window.
Right now, our Rexall family druggist is waiting on a customer.
Okay, there you are. Anything else now?
Better put in a tube of that salve my husband uses. He squeezed the one he has now with everything short of a steamroller.
Well, he can't possibly be as rough on it as Rexall scientists are.
Why? How's that?
Well, a tube that contains a drug product has to be made of extra strong yet flexible material. It's got to be able to take bending and rolling and squeezing without cracking open. But even the right material from that standpoint will sometimes cause a chemical change in the product. When that happens, Rexall men of science must find a suitable liner.
A what?
A liner, a thin coating inside the tube that keeps the product from touching it. Then, to make sure that all three will stand up under all usual conditions...
This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
Autolite and its 96,000 dealers present Suspense. Tonight, Autolite brings you a story of treachery and greed. A story we call Murder in G-Flat, starring Mr. Jack Benny.
Greetings, Pepito, my favorite free holy friar. What's on the menu?
The special, Senor Wilcox, is Autolite Stay Full Battery.
You mean you're serving the battery that needs water only 3 times a year in normal car use?
See, what is better for quick, dependable starts, huh?
Ah, nothing's better than an Autolite Stay Full, that frisky friend of car owners from coast to coast.
But,
You don't want one, senor?
Everybody wants an Autolite Stay Full. The buxom battery with fiberglass retaining mats protecting every positive plate to prevent shedding and flaking, and to keep the Autolite Stay Full battery power-packed for paramount performance.
See. How you want it, senor?
Why, it's perfect just as it is, Pepito, and built to give longer life, as proved by tests conducted according to accepted life cycle standards. So, friends, have your neighborhood Autolite battery dealer serve your car an Autolite Stay Full battery, the battery that needs water only 3 times a year in normal car use.
See. And remember,
you're always right with Autolite.
And now, with Murder in G-Flat and the transcribed performance of Mr. Jack Benny, Autolite hopes once again to keep you in suspense.
Lieutenant, in here, sir, in the rec hall.
What's he doing in the rec hall?
Well, he thought he'd tune the piano while I was waiting, Lieutenant.
Sunday night. How could you guys pick a better night than Sunday night? My one day off, and I have to come down here.
Sorry we had to call you, Joe.
This the guy, huh?
Yeah. Hey, you.
That's it. C-flat. If I had my wrench...
This is the lieutenant.
Oh, I'm sorry, Lieutenant.
Name?
My name is Remington. Hercules Remington.
That's it, Joe. We checked.
Pardon me, Lieutenant, but my wife, Martha, is going to be awfully worried. You see, I haven't seen her since this morning. They told me...
You haven't seen your wife since this morning?
No, and I thought that if I could phone her and at least tell her where I am...
Where'd you pick him up?
Coney Island, Joe. He called us from there.
Yes, and I should have called my wife, too. Look, Lieutenant, I don't want to seem persistent about
We'll
this.
have plenty of time later to call your wife. Now, give the lieutenant the story in detail, just like you told it to me on the way down here to the station.
What kind of work do you do, Remington?
Well, I'm a piano tuner, Lieutenant. Yours is out of tune. C-flat, Lieutenant. See, if I could get my bag, I'd tune...
Look, Remington, I haven't got all night. Now, either get on with your story or I'll have...
All right, Lieutenant. But I really would like to call my wife first.
Start your story.
All right. But if there's any explaining to be done to my wife, you guys will have to do it.
We'll be happy to. Now, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Well, Lieutenant, this whole mess started yesterday morning, Saturday. I got up, had breakfast with my wife, Martha, and my Uncle Herman. He's my black sheep uncle of the family. He's a carnival man, came to work at the World's Fair here, and has been living with us ever since. I think he ought to pay at least 1/3 of the rent, but Martha, well, she feels sorry for him. Anyway, I left the house around 10 o'clock on my way to the Lippenridge School of Music. I usually tune their pianos on the first Saturday of the month. You see, because there aren't any classes there on that Saturday. I catch the BMT at 57th and get off at Union Square. Well, yesterday morning I got on the subway, just like I always do. I carry a little ordinary brown bag with all my tools in it and usually lay it right next to me under the seat. I was just sitting there, thinking hard, wondering how I was going to meet the bills at the end of the month, when a man sat down next to me. He shoved something under the seat and just sat there staring ahead. B-flat, 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 B-flat.
I beg your pardon.
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I got carried away for a moment. 4 stops later, the man got up, reached under the seat, pulled out a little brown bag, and started for the door. I remember noticing he was bald-headed and wearing big black horn-rimmed glasses. For a minute, I thought he'd stolen my bag of tools, but I reached my hand under the seat and found my bag was still there. I remember sort of chuckling to myself, thinking of the coincidence that he'd been carrying the same type of bag. Well, anyway, I got off at Union Square and walked up to the Lippenridge School of Music on 14. There are 4 floors there, a piano on each floor. And I usually start at the top and work my way down. Well, since the school doesn't have any classes on Saturday, the place was deserted. That one's sour. Yeah, D-flat. Well, I'll soon have that in shape. zipped open my bag to take out my tuning hammer and my wedges, but there were no tools in my bag. The tools were gone, and in their place were bundles and bundles of crisp $10 bills. And then it hit me. The little bald-headed man on the subway. The man who sat down next to me. This bag belonged to him. He picked up mine by mistake. There was no name on the bag, no identification of any kind. I started counting one of the bundles. Each bundle contained $1,000 in $10 bills, and there were 25 bundles. I had just come heir to $25,000. When I got home, Martha was washing some clothes out on the back porch, and Uncle Herman was rolling pennies for his pitch penny concession. I called both of them into the living room, pulled all the shades down, closed and locked all the doors, and set the bag on the table.
Hercules, what are you doing back home so soon?
What kind of nonsense is this, nephew?
Martha, Uncle Herman.
You look awful pale.
I guess I do.
Hercules, what's the matter with you?
Listen to me, both of you. I'm rich.
Oh, for heaven's sakes, Hercules, at your age.
I'm not lying to you.
Look, I gotta get out.
You must be sick.
Look, will both of you be quiet for just a minute?
Sounds like he's drunk.
Are you sick, Hercules?
Look, I'm not sick and I'm not drunk. I've got it right here.
You've got what?
Look. Wow.
Hercules.
Now do you believe me? Now do you believe I'm not sick or drunk? Look at it. $25,000.
$25,000? That's a lot of money.
Hercules, where'd you get all this money?
I found it.
Found it?
Found it?
Yes.
Listen to me, Hercules Remington. Don't you lie to me. Where'd you get all that money?
I told you, Martha. I found it.
I haven't lived with you for 10 years for nothing. I know when you're lying to me. Now tell me, where'd you get all this money?
Okay, if I tell you the truth, I know you won't believe
Well, tell me anyway.
Well, all right. Look, this morning I got on the subway, just like I always do. And some little bald-headed man with black horn-rimmed glasses sat down next to me. When he got up to get off the subway, I noticed he was carrying a brown bag, just like mine. At first I thought it was mine. But mine was still under the seat. Anyway, when I got to the music school, I opened my bag, and all this money was in it.
Sounds fantastic.
Hercules.
But it's the truth. The little man picked up my bag by mistake. I searched this one for some identification, but there isn't any.
Then you mean the little bald-headed man has your bag with the tools in it?
I guess he does.
It seems odd that anyone would be carrying this much money around in a little brown bag.
Odd or not, the fact still remains that I didn't steal it.
Well, I guess there isn't any way that you could get a hold of this man, so we'll just have to turn the money over to the police.
The police?
Yes, I said the police.
But why?
Why? Good heavens, Hercules, you don't expect to keep this money.
Why not?
It isn't ours.
Why? Why isn't it ours? I found it. I didn't steal it, Martha.
Hercules.
Martha, don't you see? Maybe this is fate. Maybe we were meant to have this money. Maybe if
You're crazy. You're out of your head. You're talking like a madman, and I won't have it.
But, Martha...
You didn't come by this money honestly. It isn't legally yours.
Now, wait a minute, Martha. Maybe Hercules is
Now, you stay out of this, Uncle Herman. Hercules, you're going to take this money to the police.
No. No, I'm not. I'm not going to take this to the police or anyone else. Do you understand me? I'm not going to take this money to the police.
Hercules, I don't understand you at all. But mark my word, you'll pay for this.
Well,
don't pay no attention to her, nephew.
But why does she have to be that way? Why can't she understand me just this once? Why can't she see my side of it? See, I didn't steal this money.
Oh, you didn't, nephew.
And I'm going to keep it.
Sure you are, nephew. Sure you are. You're going to keep it.
You bet I am. The next morning, that was this morning, Sunday, Martha wouldn't speak to me at all. Her eyes were all red and puffed up. I could see that she'd been crying. And Uncle Herman wasn't doing much talking either. Martha just kept sniffling as she puttered around the stove. Martha, my peach isn't peeled.
Peel it yourself.
But
Here, I'll peel it for you, nephew.
Thanks, Uncle Herman. Martha, please, won't
Don't
you try...
talk to me.
Oh, don't be too hard on him, Martha. After all, a man's got a right.
I told you once, Uncle Herman, you stay out of this. It's none of your business.
Sorry. She's plenty mad. Well, ain't you going to answer the phone?
Hello?
Mr. Remington?
Yes?
Hercules Remington?
Yes, who is this, please?
I want to return your bag of piano tools to you, Mr. Remington. I believe there was a slight mix-up. I believe in my haste I picked up your bag instead.
But how did you find me? I mean...
Oh, it was quite simple. There's only one piano tuner with the initials HR in New York City.
Well, what do you know?
You do want your piano tools back, don't you, Mr. Remington?
Listen to me.
I don't think you'd like the idea of not being able to tune any more pianos.
What?
And I'd like to have my bag returned.
Of course.
As soon as possible.
Yes.
Tonight.
Tonight?
At 9:30 tonight. Meet me at Madison Square Garden.
Madison Square Garden?
At 9:30 at the 49th Street entrance. The door on the far end will be left slightly open. And please be prompt, Mr. Remington, with my brown bag. You see, it will displease my business partner considerably if he finds I've lost the bag.
No, all right. The 49th Street entrance, the door on the far end.
Hercules, what's wrong? Well, you're as white as a ghost.
I am?
You sure are.
I guess I should be. That was the little bald-headed man with horn-rimmed glasses, Uncle Herman. I've just lost $25,000. Uncle Herman went in the living room to read the Sunday paper, and I went in the bedroom to tell Martha about the phone call. But she wasn't there. In fact, she wasn't anywhere in the house. She was gone, and I figured that she'd probably gone over to her sister's house. I was so nervous the rest of the afternoon I couldn't eat a thing. I left the house for Madison Square Garden about 9 o'clock. From riches to rags in about 24 hours. And I was back riding the subway. I walked up 8th Avenue to the garden. I turned and walked up 49th Street to the entrance and stopped. Sure enough, one of the doors on the far end was open a little, just as the little man had told me it would be. I slipped in through the open door. It was pitch black. I couldn't see a thing. Hello? Hello? Anybody here? Hello? Is there anyone here? What the? I stumbled over something and almost fell. I struck a match and looked down at a body. The body of the little man in horn-rimmed glasses. His head was all covered with blood. I started to blow out the match, and then something caught my eye. Lying next to his body was my brown bag with the initials HR. And next to the bag, covered with blood, was my tuning hammer.
Autolite is bringing you Mr. Jack Benny in Murder in G-Flat. Tonight's production in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Senor Wilcox,
why does the Autolite Stay Full battery need water like Pepito needs a hole in the head?
Well, Pepito, the Autolite Stay Full needs water only 3 times a year in normal car use because that consistently conserving and constantly cooperating battery has over 3 times the liquid protection of batteries without Stay Full features.
And why is the Autolite Stay Full strong as a bull, senor?
Because of the fiberglass retaining mats protecting every positive plate. They prevent shedding and flaking and keep the power-producing materials in place.
Greater convenience and dependable starting, yes, senor?
Right, Pepito. And in addition, the Autolite Stay Full battery gives you longer life, as proved by tests conducted according to accepted life cycle standards.
And all these make the Stay Full welcome a siesta after fiesta. Eh, senor?
Right you are. So, friends, visit your neighborhood Autolite battery dealer for an Autolite Stay Full. The battery that needs water only 3 times a year in normal car use. Your Autolite battery man is fully equipped to give you the best in battery advice and service because
you are always right with Autolite.
And now Autolite brings back to our Hollywood soundstage Mr. Jack Benny in Elliot Lewis's production of Murder in G-Flat. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Please, Lieutenant, may I call my wife? I want to...
Finish your story first, Mr. Remington. You can call her after that.
Oh, all right.
Now, you were standing over the body of this man in Madison Square Garden. You found your tuning hammer next to the body.
Yes, my tuning hammer. Let me tell you, Lieutenant, I was scared. Plenty scared. Here I was standing over a dead man in Madison Square Garden. And clutched in my hand was his brown bag containing $25,000. Who would kill them? Who would... But I couldn't stop to think about that now. I had to get out of there, and fast, and take my bag and hammer lying on the floor with me. I started to reach for my bag when a sound, G-flat. Someone had opened up a knife. Whoever it was coming toward me, I blew out the match and waited. Who was in that corridor with me? Was it the business partner of the little man? Was it... I started to move backwards, and then a big black figure loomed up at me. With all my strength, I brought the brown bag swinging up from the floor. I ran until I thought my legs would drop. My mind was all fogged up now. I couldn't think straight. Who was the guy who just tried to kill me? One thing I knew for sure, I had to get rid of this money until I could think things out. But where? Where could I get rid of it? I neared the corner of 59th and 8th Avenue and then saw it. A bus terminal. Why not? A public locker in the bus station. I opened the door and walked in.
Scranton, Pittsburgh, and Philadelphia leaving in 10 minutes?
Yes, man, about 20 minutes.
Excuse me, mister. I'd like to have a key for a locker.
Just a second.
G-sharp.
What'd you say?
Oh, nothing.
What do you know? I haven't got an empty one right now. Have to wait a little while.
You mean out of all of these hundreds of lockers, you haven't got one empty?
Oh, I'm sorry, mister, but you can see for yourself. A lot of servicemen in town over the weekend.
Well, how long will it be?
10, 15 minutes, maybe a couple hours.
Okay, I'll wait. I'll sit over there. I bought a paper at the newsstand and sat down on one of the benches. I didn't even know what I was reading. I just kept... And then I saw it. On page 2, a complete account of a robbery that had occurred on Friday night at one of the downtown post offices. 2 bandits had escaped with $25,000 in $10 bills. This was it. It must have been. But would the police believe a story like that? Of course they wouldn't. I had the money, and it was my tuning hammer there, lying next to the body in the garden. I got out of that bus terminal in a hurry and walked up 8th Avenue. Where could I go? The only place I could think of was Coney Island. Coney Island and Uncle Herman and his pitch penny concession. It was late, and the island amusement park was almost deserted. It was cold and close to 11. Uncle Herman was leaning against the side of his concession as I walked up.
Why, nephew, what are you doing out this way?
Uncle Herman, quick, let's go in back.
All right. There ain't no customers anyway. Yeah. Oh, what happened, Hercules? Did you give the money back to the man?
I went to meet him at the garden, just like he told me. But when I got there and I found him, he was dead.
Dead?
He'd been beat over the head with my tuning hammer.
Why, Hercules.
I was just about to grab my hammer and bag and get out of there when someone made a lunge at me in the dark. But I got away. I went to a bus terminal to put the money in a locker. I had to wait. And then I read that the money is stolen post office money.
Oh, you got yourself in a mess, nephew.
I'm frantic. I don't know what to do. That's why I came here.
Well, I'm glad you did, nephew. Glad you did.
But what am I going to do?
Well, best thing would be to go back and get that hammer and bag. Leave the money here. I'll hide it for you.
But maybe I ought to go to the police.
You can't go to the police with that story. They'd never believe you, Hercules.
I know.
Bring your bag and come with me, nephew. I got a hiding place for that money that no one will ever find.
Uncle Herman locked his place up, and then he led me over to the fun house. It was closed now, and the place was all dark. But Uncle Herman had a key. He led me up some stairs to a high ramp that people climb on, to slide down the big chute. He stopped at one of them.
Here, nephew. Right under this top chute, we'll just pry one of the boards loose a little and slip the bag with the money underneath. No one in the world will ever look for it. There we are. Now, give me the bag, nephew.
Here you are, Uncle Herman. Are you sure that no one will find it here?
Absolutely, nephew. You and I are the only ones who know where it is. There's nothing to be afraid of. Now, hand me the bag.
Here you are.
That's it. Now, let's just check to make sure that...
What's the matter, Uncle Herman?
Where's the money, nephew?
The money? What are you talking about? It's in the...
Is this what you call money? Why, this bag's got nothing in it but bundles of torn newspaper.
I don't understand.
Hercules, dear nephew, what did you do with the money?
I don't know. It was in there. You saw it yourself when I brought it home.
It's a scheme of yours, Hercules?
Scheme?
Trying to cheat on your dear old uncle, aren't you, Hercules?
Uncle Herman, what are you talking about?
Where's the money, Hercules?
G-flat. That night. G-flat.
This ain't no time to play games with your Uncle Herman, Hercules.
Uncle Herman, where were you tonight?
What's that, Hercules?
G-flat. Your night. It's G-flat.
Looks like this thing has got you going, Hercules.
It was you in the garden, wasn't it, Uncle Herman? You killed him.
Let's not waste any more time, nephew. Now tell me where that money is.
I don't know.
Stop lying to your dear uncle, Hercules.
I'm not lying.
I usually use this knife to scale fish. The smell of fish is stronger than the smell of blood.
But I tell you, I don't know where that money is.
You're lying to me. You came down here just to throw me off, didn't you? Make me think you lost the money.
Uncle Herman, stay away from me.
All right, Hercules. So you won't tell your dear uncle.
He rushed at me with the knife. I stepped back, tripped over the board he had pried loose, and fell down. But Uncle Herman... He went hurtling over me, head over heels down the long slide. And I got back down at the bottom of the slide chute. He was dead.
The uncle had his neck broken, Lieutenant.
What about the money?
Well, Mr. Remington's wife turned it over to the authorities this morning about 11 o'clock. She said the money wasn't his, and she didn't want him carrying it around.
Well, I guess that'll be all, Mr. Remington. You can go now.
But isn't it dangerous? I mean, the partner is still...
We picked up his business partner a few hours after the robbery.
Oh.
But just in case you happen to come across another $25,000 that doesn't belong to you, promise me that you'll get in touch with the authorities, will you, Mr. Remington?
Oh, I've learned my lesson, Lieutenant. Believe you me, I have.
Yeah, good.
Oh, for heaven's sakes, I almost forgot. I got to call my wife. She's probably frantic by now.
There's a payphone right outside in the corridor.
Payphone?
Yeah, right around the corner. You can't miss it.
Well, she's waited this long. I think I'll just tell her when I get home.
Suspense. Presented by Autolite. Tonight's star, Mr. Jack Benny.
Fine meal, Pepito. So long.
Hey, no dessert, Senor Wilcox?
I never desert, Pepito. I'm always faithful to those 400 fine products for cars, trucks, tractors, planes, and boats made by Autolite in 28 plants from coast to coast. These include complete ignition systems used as original factory equipment on many leading makes of our finest cars. Generators, coils, distributors, electric windshield wipers, voltage regulators, wire and cable, starting motors, and many more. And they're all engineered to fit together perfectly, work together perfectly, because they're all part of the Autolite team. So, friends, don't accept electrical parts supposed to be as good. Ask for and insist on Autolite original factory parts at your neighborhood service station, car dealer, garage, or repair shop. Remember, you're always right with Autolite.
Next week on Suspense, our stars will be Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz in Early to Death. And in weeks to come, you will hear such famous stars as James Stewart, Ann Baxter, and Rosalind Russell, all on Suspense.
Suspense is produced and directed by Elliot Lewis, with music composed by Lucien Morawek and conducted by Lud Gluskin. Murder in G-Flat was written for Suspense by Richard George Petticini. Portions of this program were transcribed. In tonight's cast, Joseph Kearns was heard as Uncle Herman, Bea Benaderet as Martha, and Larry Thor as the Lieutenant. Others in the cast were Clayton Post, Jack Crucian, and Paul Frees. Jack Benny may be heard each Sunday on CBS on his own radio program, The Jack Benny Show.
And remember, next week on Suspense, Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz in a story about a mysterious airplane crash in the mountains of Mexico. A tale we call Early to Death.
You can buy Autolite Stay-Full batteries, Autolite resistor-type or standard-type spark plugs, Autolite electrical parts at your neighborhood Autolite dealers. Switch to Autolite. Good night.
Tonight, Autolite salutes the men and women leaders in boys' clubs all over America. This is National Boys Club Week, a time to remember that our boys' clubs serve the boy, the community, and the nation by training tomorrow's leaders today. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Doctors prove the Palmolive plan brings 2 out of 3 women lovelier complexions in 14 days. For the Palmolive plan was tested on women with all types of skin. Dry, oily, even skin that was not clear. Yes, regardless of age, type of skin, or previous beauty care, 36 doctors proved the 14-day Palmolive plan brings fresher, brighter, younger-looking complexions. So get Palmolive soap and start your 14-day Palmolive plan now.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dennis Day.
What makes life seem worthwhile dwells in your eyes and the spell of your smile.
Dennis Day is brought to you by Colgate Dental Cream and Luster Cream Shampoo. Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth Luster Cream Shampoo for soft, glamorous dream girl hair. The Dennis Day Show with Barbara Eiler, B. Benaderet, Dink Trout, Charles Dant in the orchestra, and yours truly, Vern Smith, is written by Frank Galen and stars our popular young singer in A Day in the Life of Dennis Day. Here's Dennis to sing that fine old Come All Ye, the same old shillelagh.
Sure, and 50 years ago, me father left O'Leary shore. He landed here, shillelagh in hand, and divil a penny more. He got a job and then a wife and raised a family. And when he died, he left his old shillelagh stick to me. Sure, it was the same old shillelagh me father brought from Ireland. And divil a one was prouder than he as he walked with it in his hand. He led the parade on Paddy's Day and twirled it round his mitt. And divil a one would monkey with it or me dad would have the fit. With that same old shillelagh me father could lick a dozen men. As fast as they got up, begorra, he'd knock 'em down again. And many's the time he used it on me for to make me understand. The same old shillelagh me father brought from Ireland. I'm going on the police force, it's the only thing to do. Instead of having one night stick, begorra, I'll have two. And if I get into a fight, no one will bother me. But I'll have the old shillelagh stick me father left to me. Sure, it's the same old shillelagh me father brought from Ireland. And divil a one was prouder than he as he walked with it in his hand. He led the parade on Paddy's Day and twirled it round his mitt. And divil a one was monkey with it or me dad would have a fit. Where the same old shillelagh me father could lick a dozen men. As fast as they got up, begorra, he'd knock 'em down again. And many's the time he used it on me for to make me understand. The same old shillelagh me father brought from Ireland.
Colgate Dental Cream cleans your breath while it cleans your teeth.
No other toothpaste does a better job of cleaning teeth than Colgate Dental Cream. For Colgate Dental Cream has a safe polishing agent that cleans your teeth both gently and thoroughly, brings out their natural sparkle and beauty. You can actually see and feel the difference.
And scientific tests prove that Colgate Dental Cream cleans your breath while it cleans your teeth. Yes, actual scientific tests prove conclusively that in 7 out of 10 cases, Colgate instantly stops unpleasing breath that originates in the mouth.
Colgate Dental Cream is famous for its wonderful wake-up flavor, too. Nationwide tests of leading toothpastes prove that Colgate's is preferred for flavor over every other brand tested. Yes, preferred over every other brand tested.
And no wonder. For Colgate Dental Cream is the result of constant effort to produce the finest toothpaste in the world today. For cleaning teeth, for flavor, for sweetening breath.
So see if you don't agree with the millions who have made Colgate Dental Cream America's favorite toothpaste. Try Colgate Dental Cream to bring out the natural sparkle and beauty of your teeth. For a wake-up flavor you'll thoroughly enjoy.
And always use Colgate Dental Cream after you eat and before every date to clean your breath while you clean your teeth. Well, there's great excitement this week in the adopted town of our young hero, Dennis Day, for this is the week of the annual Weaverville Hobby Show. As usual, his landlord and lady, the Andersons, have each worked on a project, but unfortunately only Herbert has produced an entry. His scale model of a ship has already been sent to the display, but alas, Mrs. Anderson's carefully nurtured box petunia has failed to produce so much as a bud. She's inconsolable as she gazes at it.
Oh, my poor flower. My poor dear flower.
Oh, now, there, little cuddle girl.
It wasn't your fault, Mother. It was just bad luck. Not even a bud. And I've tried so hard to help the poor thing grow. I even took the heater out of Dennis's room and stood it next to it all winter.
Well, now, don't you feel unhappy about the hobby show, lover. I've entered my model ship in your name as well as mine.
Oh, Herbert, did you really?
Yes. And what's more, I've named it after you. The Poopsie.
The what?
It's written right across the poopsie deck.
Herbert, I don't care for that sort of humor.
Sorry, my dear. I can't think what came over me.
What's more, I don't want that name bandied about in public. You will change the name of your boat to the Clara.
Yes, my rapture.
Morning, everyone.
Oh, hi, Dennis.
Hello.
Good morning, my son.
Gee, Mrs. Anderson, I didn't sleep a wink last night when I heard about your poor little Petunia. Mr. Anderson broke the news to me just as I was putting on my overcoat to go to bed.
Yes, and I promised everyone in town a big surprise, too. Every year something terrible happens to me at hobby show time.
Yeah, last year you sent over that fancy cake you'd baked, and they entered it in the millinery exhibit by mistake.
Oh, it didn't do badly, though, Poopsie. It took second prize.
But I can't understand it. How could the judges think my cake was a lady's hat?
Maybe they tasted it.
Dennis.
Huh?
Today is St. Patrick's Day, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Why don't you take a nice walk down the street, whistling God Save the King? Come along, Herbert.
Oh, darn it, now she's mad at me again. Just when I wanted her to like me well enough to spare my life when she hears the news.
The news? What are you talking about?
Well, Mildred, a few weeks ago I did a foolish thing. I know that doesn't sound like me, but I did.
Oh, what?
Well, you know the baby picture contest Peak Magazine was running? $300 for first prize?
Oh, the cutest hot contest? Yes, what about it?
I entered a picture in it, and it won.
But, Dennis, that's wonderful.
But somehow I don't think so. You see, the picture I sent in was one of your mother when she was 3 years old.
My mother? Well, why did you do that?
I don't know. I ran across it in your family album, and it was so... Well, at that age, ferociousness is cute.
Well, I still don't see why you're so upset. Suppose Mother's picture did win.
But you don't understand. The magazine is sending a photographer here to take more pictures of the winner.
Oh.
He'll probably be a little surprised when he sees your mother.
Oh, my gosh, of course he will.
And even if he weren't, I doubt if she'd pose on a white fur rug in the condition he expects.
Golly, when this story gets out, she'll be laughed out of town.
Yeah, and I was counting on that prize money to get me in good with her.
Dennis, there might be a way to save it yet. What we need is a baby.
Mildred, he's coming this afternoon. Even if we got married right this minute, there wouldn't be...
I mean, we have to borrow one.
Oh.
Now, let's see. Who do we know who has a baby?
Well, the fellow who delivers my laundry has one, and he... No, his baby might not do.
Well, why not? Who is he? What's his name?
Hip Sing Lung Fu.
I'm afraid you're right. Say, wait. How about Mrs. Rogers? She has a baby, and she's always looking for a place for it while she's at work.
Oh, but Mrs. Rogers' kid is only a year old. Your mother was 3 when that picture was taken.
Well, we can make him look older.
Him? When it comes time to explain that one, you take over.
Dennis, stop being silly. Now, look, you go over to Mrs. Rogers' house and tell her you've just opened a nursery for the babies of working mothers. Tell her on it.
I'll try.
Tell her.
Well, okay, I just hope this works.
Of course it will. What are you doing there?
Putting my ring on the third finger of my left hand. If I'm going to be a mother, I want to look right.
Yes?
How do you do, Mrs. Rogers? I'm Mr. Day of the Day Nursery.
The Day Nursery?
We take complete charge of your baby all day while you work for only $1.
Only $1? Oh, well, that's very reasonable. Can you feed them properly for so little money?
Madam, our food is not only healthy, but there's plenty of it. Every one of your baby sandwiches will be on whole wheat bread and come with French fried potatoes.
French fried potatoes?
And what's more, your child will be taught proper table manners. He won't be handled the way some parents handle babies.
What do you mean?
Believe me, if he burps after his meals, he better excuse himself.
Mr. Day.
And that isn't all we do for the little tyke. He'll get a bath every single day. We hand him some soap and a towel and throw him into the bathtub. And when I come back into that bathroom, he better be clean.
You mean you put babies into a bathtub and then leave them there all alone?
Well, madam, some of the kids are of my opposite sex.
Oh, Mr. Day, you must be out of your mind. You've never been anywhere near a nursery in your whole life.
I said something that caused you to lose confidence in me?
Well, what do you think?
Yeah, I might have known. Well, I better tell you the truth, Mrs. Rogers. You see, Mildred Anderson and I thought...
Mildred Anderson? You mean Clara and Herbert's child?
Yeah.
Is she in this with you?
Yeah, you see, we thought...
Oh, well, why didn't you say so? I'd be glad to let Mildred take care of my baby.
Oh, yeah?
Of course, she's a wonderful girl and very reliable. But don't you go near him or the deal's off, you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
I like my baby the way he is. Now, you stay here and I'll go get him. And I'll give you some extras, too.
Extras?
Well, of course. Mildred's going to change him, isn't she?
How do you like that? And she just said she liked him the way he is.
We'll continue this day in the life of Dennis Day in just a moment. Meanwhile, here's Dennis to sing his RCA Victor recording of Clancy Lowered the Boom.
Clancy was the peaceful man, if you know what I mean. The cops picked up the pieces after Clancy left the scene. He never looked for trouble, that's a fact you can assume. But nevertheless, when trouble would press, Clancy lowered the boom. Oh, that Clancy! Oh, that Clancy! Whenever they got his Irish up, Clancy lowered the boom, 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 boom. O'Leary was the fighting man, they all knew he was tough. He strutted round the neighborhood, shooting off his guff. He picked a fight with Clancy, then and there he sealed his doom. Before you could shout, O'Leary, look out! Clancy lowered the boom. Oh, that Clancy! Oh, that Clancy! Whenever they got his Irish up, Clancy lowered the boom, 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 boom. Now Clancy left the barber shop with tonic on his hair. He walked into the pool room and he met O'Reilly there. O'Reilly said, for goodness sake, now do I smell perfume? Before you could stack your cue in the rack, Clancy lowered the boom. Oh, that Clancy! Oh, that Clancy! Whenever they got his Irish up, Clancy lowered the boom, 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 boom. Marooney walked into the bar and ordered up a round. He left his drink to telephone and Clancy drank it down. Marooney said, who drunk me drink, I lay him in his tomb. Before you could pat the top of your hat, Clancy lowered the boom. Oh, that Clancy! Oh, that Clancy! Whenever they got his Irish up, Clancy lowered the boom.
No, he still doesn't look old enough, Mildred. Nowhere near 3.
Oh, I know.
Better give me a couple more locks of your hair to paste on his head.
Golly, Dennis, you'll have me bald.
Yeah, but just think, if this doesn't work, I'll be scalped.
All right. Here. And do try to paste it on evenly this time.
Okay. Steady, baby. Steady.
Darn it, there he goes again. You'll have to rock him in your arms like you did before.
Yeah. Nice, baby. Good baby. Rock-a-bye, baby, on the treetop. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. Gee, it works every time, doesn't it?
Yes, but he still doesn't look as old as he should.
Well, do you think we should paint a mustache on him?
Don't be silly. But maybe if he had some eyebrows. Wait a minute. Here, try these over his eyes.
All right. Steady, baby. There.
Huh. How do you think he looks now?
Like John L. Lewis's kid.
Well, I just don't know what we're going to do. That photographer will be here any minute. I know he has a reservation at the hotel for early.
Right. Take Mr. Reiner's bags, boy. You going to be with us long, Mr. Reiner?
Just overnight. The Anderson baby over at 321 Elm Street won my magazine's cutest tot contest, and I'm here to get some more pictures.
Herb and Clara? Why, they got no baby.
No?
No.
Well, just take a look at this photograph.
Huh? Why, holy smoke. That is a baby. And it looks just like Pupsy, too. That same scowl, only with dimples.
You mean you didn't know they had a baby?
Why, nobody did. How do you like that? So that's the surprise she had for the town. Hey, Sam, Ed, Janie, Frank, Louise, come here. What do you know? The Andersons got a baby. A baby.
There he goes again, Dennis. Rock him quick.
Yeah, nice baby. Fine baby. Don't know what to call him, but he's mighty like a rose. Ah, he likes me. Hello, baby. Hello, Jimmy boy. Hey, see that?
Yes, but he's supposed to be a girl, Dennis, remember? You better get used to the idea.
Oh, yeah. Hello, baby. Hello, Clara, honey.
Oh, golly, no, look.
We're only kidding, baby. You're really a big, fine, strong man. Sure.
Come on, we simply got to paste some more hair on him if we're going to convince that photographer he's free. Oh, my gosh, Dennis, there he is. Quick, get there before someone else can start talking to him.
Yeah. Yeah, well, why, Mr. Anderson.
Oh, Dennis, I'm so excited I couldn't even get my key in the lock. Poopsie, dream lover.
Yes, Herbert.
Poopsie, I think we've won the model ship contest.
Your sailboat took first prize? But they weren't to announce it till Friday.
Yes, but the news must be out somehow. Everyone in town has been shaking my hand and congratulating me all day.
Oh, Herbert, that's wonderful.
Yes, several of the boys even asked me why I wasn't passing out cigars. Can you imagine?
Gee, that's swell, Mr. Anderson. We're all proud of you.
Oh, I should say we are. Come on, Herbert. We'll go down to the show right now.
Well, I'll get it.
Oh, wait, Mr. Anderson.
Well, hello, Mrs. Rogers.
Oh, Mr. Anderson, I just heard. Congratulations.
Why, thank you, Mrs. Rogers.
Yes. Well, I was coming over here anyway. Why, Mrs. Anderson. Well, you're up. You're out of bed already.
Mrs. Rogers, it's 2:30 in the afternoon.
Well, yes,
Come along, Herbert. We've got to get downtown.
But surely you're not going to go downtown this soon, Mrs. Anderson.
Why, of course we are. That's where they've got it on exhibition. See you later, Mrs. Rogers.
Mrs. Rogers, is anything wrong? You're standing there with your mouth open.
Mrs. A, is it really on exhibition?
Why, sure, at the hobby show.
A hobby show?
Oh, sure, it's beautiful. Of course, we don't know yet whether it'll float.
Well, you're not going to try to find out, are you?
Oh, not until we're sure her seams are good and tight so she won't get waterlogged.
Mr. Day, you're not serious.
Huh? Of course I am. We don't even know yet if she'll sit up properly. She has a round bottom, you know.
Yes, but don't they all?
Oh. No, some are built like barges. Mrs. Rogers, are you sure there's nothing wrong? You're acting so funny about this.
Well, I just can't get over it, that's all. In the first place, it's such a shock to see Mrs. Anderson on her way downtown after something so strenuous.
Mrs. Anderson? Why, she had almost nothing to do with it. Mr. Anderson deserves most of the credit.
Mr. Anderson?
Oh, sure. Boy, is he proud. This is his first windjammer.
Well, I really didn't come over here to talk about that at all. I came over to get my baby.
Your baby?
Yes.
Oh, but Mrs. Rogers, you can't. The photographer... I mean, he's upstairs fast asleep. You shouldn't wake up a baby. He might not sleep while he's awake.
Well, yes, but What was that?
Me.
See? That was my baby, and you said he was fast asleep.
Oh, wait, Mrs. Rogers, don't go up there. Let us handle this, please.
It came from this room here, didn't it?
Mrs. Rogers, don't look at your little Jimmy. Oh, you look. Mildred, believe me, it couldn't possibly work.
But why not? Why couldn't you be the child?
Oh, no.
Yes. And I'll be your mother.
Mildred, you're 19 and I'm 22. Even in India, women don't have children that young.
We'll Don't pretend you're a child, silly. You can talk in a little 3-year-old voice that'll fool him completely.
Yeah, but won't the rest of me make him a little suspicious?
He won't see you. He'll only hear you. We'll put you in a dark room and tell him there's something wrong with your eyes.
Mildred, I know that...
Dennis, that must be him. Now, quick, lie down on the couch and cover yourself with that Afghan. I'll draw the curtains.
How do you do? I'm Milton Reiner of Peak Magazine.
Oh, yes. You came to take pictures of my little Clara. I'm sorry the room is so dark, but poor little Clara's eyes aren't right.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear it.
Oh, you can talk to her, though. She's right here. Clara, honey, there's a man here to talk to you. Say hello to the man.
My name is Clara Anderson. I'm 2.5 years old, so there, too.
And you have something wrong with your eyes, Clara?
Yeah, too. I got bad eyes, so my mommy won't let me shoot pool or nothing.
Well, I didn't know little girls played pool.
I'm a tomboy.
Well, what seems to be the trouble, darling? Did you strain your little eyes somehow?
Yeah, too much reading.
Too much reading at your age?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened to your voice just then?
I guess it's changing.
At 3.5?
I'm a tomboy.
Reiner, I'm afraid that's all little Clara should...
Yoo-hoo, Mildred, we're home.
Oi.
What's going on in here? Why is it so dark? Well, who are you?
Oh, my name is Reiner, madam. I came to take some pictures of your granddaughter.
My granddaughter. What granddaughter?
She's absent-minded.
What?
Hello, Grandma.
Dennis, say, what are you up to? Get your head out from under that cover.
Why, it's a full-grown boy.
Not for long, I'm afraid. But I can explain, Mrs. Anderson. Honest, I can.
Don't bother.
Well, I'd like to know what's going on. Where's the Clara Anderson whose baby picture won first prize in our contest?
Clara Anderson? My picture won first prize? My baby picture? I can't really say I'm surprised. Where's the money?
Are you kidding? I got a good mind to sue you and this kid for fraud.
Fraud? Dennis Day.
Mrs. Anderson, wait. Get that gleam out of your eye. I'm too young to go like this. I'm just a boy, a child.
I'm only 3.5 years old.
Dennis Day will be back in just 1 minute to sing Danny Boy. But first... Grand news, wonderful news. Now Luster Cream Shampoo comes in tubes as well as jars. Yes, Luster Cream, the utterly new cream shampoo that gives you soft, glamorous dream girl hair. Try Luster Cream Shampoo. 4-ounce jar, $1. Smaller sizes, tubes or jars, whichever you prefer, 49 and 25 cents. But whether you prefer the tube or the jar, you will prefer Luster Cream Shampoo. Be a dream girl, a lovely Luster Cream girl.
Dream girl, beautiful Luster Cream girl, hair that gleams and glistens from a Luster Cream shampoo. Dream girl, beautiful Luster Cream girl, you owe your crowning glory to a Luster Cream shampoo.
No St. Patrick's Day would be complete without Dennis singing the lovely old Irish air, Danny Boy. Here it is now, sung as only Dennis Day can sing it.
Oh, Danny Boy, to Glen Mountainside, the summer's gone and all the roses falling. It's you must go, and I must
But come ye back when summer's in the meadow, or when the valley's hushed and white with snow. If I'll be here in sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Danny boy, oh, Danny boy, I love you so. But when ye come and all the flowers are dying, if I am dead, as dead I well may be, he'll come and find the place where I am lying, and kneel and say an Ave there for me, and I shall hear the soft tread above me, and all my grave will warmer, sweeter be. For you will bend and tell me that you love me, and I shall sleep in peace until you
Thank you, and my thanks also to the Ancient Order of Hibernians for the honor they have bestowed upon me by presenting me with their annual award. Good night, everyone.
Next week, tune in to another Dentist Day show brought to you by Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth, and Luster Cream Shampoo for soft, glamorous dream girl hair. Friends, here's a chance to help the Girl Scouts and to help children everywhere, and you don't have to contribute a cent in cash. You can help by contributing either children's or adults' clothing or material, or by contributing a few hours a week sewing, sorting, and packing. Call your local Girl Scout troop tomorrow. Help them make warm friends of the world's shivering children. Vern Smith speaking. Good night.
This is NBC, the national broadcasting company.
Company of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, presents The Halls of Ivy, starring Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Coleman.
When there's beer on your mind, your best thought is Schlitz, the beer that made Milwaukee famous. More people like the taste of Schlitz than any other beer. That's why Schlitz is the largest selling beer in America.
And now, The Halls of Ivy. The halls of ivy that surround us here today, and we will not forget, though we depart. Welcome again to Ivy College. Autumn days filled with the excitement of the coming first snow and football, and there's a zing in the air. But to Dr. William Todd Hunter Hall, president of Ivy, and his ex-actress wife, Victoria, autumn means new students, a lot of new professors, and receptions ad nauseum. As the lovely Mrs. Hall so well says,
I've had 10, Vicky, Beck, and 10. He was the fat one who teaches romance languages. About as romantic as Lewis. Check.
What in the world are you talking about, Vicky?
Oh, is this one? Oh, yes. He was the one with the bushy hair. He took 4 spoonfuls of sugar.
In his hair?
Oh, no, sorry. Oh. I'm only trying to see if we've had every new professor and instructor to tea.
No, several of them have been here twice. Particularly Dr. Schwarzkopf in zoology, who looks like a sad bullfrog.
No, we haven't had all of them. Here's a name that isn't checked. John Bentley Brook.
No, invite the bullfrog again, Schwarzkopf. I like him. He plays chess badly.
Well, who's Bentley Brook here? Have I met him?
I don't know, Vicky. He's modern English literature or some such. Doesn't matter.
Well, he's the last of the lot. Shall we have him Tuesday?
I'm busy on Tuesday.
Wednesday?
Faculty meeting on Wednesday.
Oh, that's news to me. You didn't tell me.
No, dear, I just decided.
All right, Thursday then.
I never like these receptions on Thursdays.
Well, why not?
Well, it's too close to the weekend, you know. Next day's Friday, then Saturday. It's confusing.
Certainly is. Well, what's the matter with Mr. Bentley Brook? Don't you like him?
My dear girl, I don't know enough about the fellow to like or dislike him.
Well, tell me, Toddy, what does he look like?
Well, I didn't notice, really. Lots of new instructors, you know. Can't remember details about all of them.
When you engaged him, you must have noticed him.
Well, he's a young man with the regulation number of ears and eyes, etc.
Tell me a little more about the etc.
Oh, no, Vicky. I'm not...
Toddy, I believe you're jealous.
Jealous, my dear. I merely object to the new fad of young ladies making bird-like sounds because a person happens to be good-looking.
Yeah, you never object when they make bird-like sounds over you.
Oh, that's nonsense. I'm not wolf-faced. Or whatever the male equivalent of wolf-faced might be.
Oh, yes, you are. The toads on this campus coo and gurgle over you like Bobby Sockface.
Well, of course they don't, Vicky. It's ridiculous. They certainly don't. Do they?
Girls at Smith Dormitory have voted you the Ivy man they'd most like to cling to.
Makes me feel like a bell tower.
Now, I thought he'd be serious. We must have young Bentley Brook over. I'll keep quick. I won't wear my bobby socks.
All right, darling. Ask him whenever you like.
Fine. Tuesday?
I'm busy Tuesday.
Wednesday?
I told you, darling, faculty meeting.
Thursday?
No, it's too close to the weekend.
I beg your pardon. Is this Mr. Bentley Brook's class in modern literature?
It sure is. And wait until you see him. Is he dreamy?
Sure he must be.
Are you registering for his course, too? Not that I blame you. He'd have a full class if he taught counterfeiting. Did you ever see such a mob?
Yes, but I'm not here to take the course. I only want to ask Mr. Bentley Brook to tea.
Ask him to tea? Oh, a new approach. Well, that's just dull enough to be sharp. I gotta try that.
All right, everybody. Sign up. Fill out those slips.
Go ahead, honey. Sign your name.
Look, that's not what I came here for. I was trapped. All I wanted to do was invite him to tea and get a look at him.
Well, I've never believed that curiosity could kill a cat, but I'm beginning to think it might cause a few feline neuroses. But now that you've been trapped into taking the course, I expect you to uphold the honor of this family and be an honor student.
Oh, he doesn't know I'm the president's wife. I registered under my maiden name.
Well, you still better pay attention and learn all you can, because I'll be asking questions. What was the first lecture like?
Well, Mr. Bentley Brook discussed the basic difference between T.S. Eliot and Nick Tennis.
Basic difference, yes.
Well, on Friday, his subject will be, if Charles Dickens were alive today, he'd probably be writing comic books.
Apparently, Mr. Bentley-Brooke is a regular Milton-Burl.
He gets a lot of yawks.
Yuck. Yuck? I'm not familiar with the word.
Yock, Y-O-C-K. It's a hearty laugh, a theatrical trade term. I can see how it might have escaped your attention.
Yeah. Yes, it's an interesting word. Have you any idea of its etymological derivation? Yuck. Yeah, it's possibly related to yoik, the cry of encouragement of Foxhound.
No, it's more a cry of appreciation to comedians. I'm going to learn a lot about literature in this course.
Yes, you'd better read a few books, too. You know, I disagree with that chap about Charles Dickens. I think he'd be writing daytime serials.
Oh, Toddy.
Yes. Old Dr. Manette. David Copperfield, boy. Fagin, Faces Life.
Oh, Toddy, that's wonderful.
You know, I've gotten a few yucks myself. And how about Dickens on television? Cook, Fran, and Oliver Twist.
Oh, you're much better than Bentley-Brooke any day of the week.
Well, I hope you weren't completely swept off your feet by the man's look.
Oh, Charlie, not for a second. Not for a single second. He's not my type. You are.
Yes, come in. Ah, Mr. Bentley-Brooke, isn't it? Come in.
Thank you, Dr. Hall.
Sit down, Brooke. Tell me, how is your course in modern literature progressing?
Well, very well, Doctor. I don't know when I've enjoyed teaching a course so much.
Good. You know, it's my conviction that an instructor should be like a fine chef. Spice and seasoning are, of course, invaluable to every good dish, but the basic food must also be there. The meat, the potatoes. Nobody would care much for a steaming bowl of paprika or a platter full of cinnamon.
Well, I agree with you, sir. Mustard is all very well, but the basic ham must always be there.
Yes, in my case, it always is. Now tell me, what was it you wanted to see me about?
Well, Dr. Hall, I wanted to ask you about, the rules regarding an instructor's conduct on this campus.
Oh, we don't live by any hard and fast rules here, Brooke. The regulation thing, drive on the right side of the street, honor thy father and thy mother, and don't shoot any members of the Board of Governors between September and June.
Well, I'll remember that.
But by and large, we try to live freely and fully. And that's only possible in an atmosphere of academic freedom. Too many thou shalt not, and the human brain becomes a tight little cell that is no longer an effective sending or receiving station. The soaring words of Socrates are on our bookshelves. Mr. Jefferson is there. Mr. Galileo. And a young whippersnapper named Tom Paine. But unless we take them off the bookshelves and practice what they fought for, yes, and drank the hemlock for, well, we're not scholars in the true sense of the word.
That would make a fine subject for a lecture to the student body, Dr. Hall.
It's been used to Mr. Brooke and by me every year.
Well, the thing I wondered about is, are there any thou shalt not about an instructor falling in love with one of his students?
An instructor falling in love with one of his students. Oh, dear.
How do you feel about such a thing, Dr. Hall?
Well, there are many factors to be considered. For example, is the instructor married or single? Conversely, is the student single or married?
Well...
And then there's the all-important question, is the instructor male or female? And conversely, is the student female or male? Odd, isn't it? That with only two sexes in the world, it can get so complicated.
Well, the instructor is male and single. The student is quite female. And according to my class register, a miss.
Now, this is a problem. And not an everyday one. Usually our professors are old enough to keep on their own side of their bifocals. And the students are young enough not to attract or be attracted by wearers of bifocals.
Well, this student is quite mature. Unusually so.
Yes. Mature? Unusually. Yes, I see.
Is there any rule prohibiting the instructor asking a student for a date? For dinner, perhaps? Or a drive in the moonlight? I'd like a ruling from you, Dr. Hall. I wouldn't want to do anything that might be bad form.
Bad form, yes. Well, Mr. Brooks, since this is such a, personal matter, I'd like a time to think about it. And if you don't mind, I'd like to talk to my wife, you know, the feminine point of view.
I haven't had the pleasure of meeting Mrs. Hall as yet, though I hear she's beautiful and charming.
Well, I must say that's a very skinty inventory of Mrs. Hall's quality. Well, why don't you come to tea this afternoon? You can meet Mrs. Hall, and we can all wrestle with your conscience.
I should love to, Dr. Hall.
Good. And that is the first act curtain to a no-coward comedy if I ever heard one. But to file the piece off an old saw, cowards just make consciences of us all.
When there's beer on your mind, your best thought is Schlitz, the beer that made Milwaukee famous. More people like the taste of Schlitz than any other beer. That's why Schlitz is the largest selling beer in America.
Several thousand years ago, a fellow named Epicurus had a theory that pleasure is the only thing in life worth pursuing. Well, it's really too bad Epicurus can't be with us today. How he would have enjoyed pursuing the pleasure in a white-capped glass of Schlitz beer. That's pleasure in its purest form. To give Schlitz its own very special taste, the taste you remember with pleasure, Schlitz beer is mellowed 3 times.
Mellowed by aging the barley till it's just right for malting. Mellowed by aging the malt till it's just right for brewing. Mellowed by aging the beer till it's just right for you.
This triple mellowing is one of the reasons why Schlitz tastes so good. No wonder it's the largest selling beer in America. To the halls of Ivy. Dr. William Todd Hunter Hall is a man who faces issues squarely. Occasionally, of course, a few of the squares have rounded edges. Vicky is taking a course in modern literature from the youngest, the best-looking instructor ever to hit Ivy. As a husband and as president of Ivy, Dr. Hall is hitting back.
Hello, darling.
Oh, Vicky, I'm glad you're home.
What's the matter?
Vicky, do you mean that I have such an unpoker face that you can read it at a glance?
Like a full house or a royal flush in heart.
I shall certainly never play poker with you. Wives invariably have more extrasensory perception than is absolutely necessary. Telepathy is only scientific jargon for a woman's basic instinct. The gypsy fortune teller is only one who has put her feminine intuition on a paying basis.
I've no talent for it, dear. All I can ever see in the bottom of a teacup is tired tea leaves.
Well, talking of tea, were you planning to have anyone in this afternoon?
Yes. I intended to have the best-looking, the wittiest, and the most charming man I know.
You invited him?
No, dear. You arrive pretty regularly without an invitation.
Oh, me? Oh, no. I thought you were talking about Mr. Bentley Brooks.
Oh, Charlie, I've decided to forget about Mr. B.B. I'm dropping out of his course. I think you're right. We can forget about asking him.
Forget? But you were the one who was so anxious to invite him.
Well, at first I thought his lectures were fascinating, but I've changed my mind. He drones. He definitely drones.
Well, he's going to drone for us this afternoon. I've invited him.
You've invited him? Whatever for?
Because we are civilized, rational people who should face issues as they arise.
What kind of issues?
Mr. Bentley Brooke is in love with one of his students.
Oh, how romantic. I wonder who it is. Now, could it be the frizzed-out blonde in the front row who crosses her legs? No, I hardly think so. It might be the intense one with the straight hair and horn-rimmed glasses who doesn't cross her legs.
Vicky, I have every reason to believe that it is neither the frizzed-out one or the horn-rimmed one. As a matter of fact, I'll come right out and say it's a married woman.
Oh, dear. It does lead to complications.
You've no idea how complicated it is. The married woman is you.
But that's the funniest thing I ever heard. You're completely ridiculous. Yes? In love with me?
My darling.
But that's the funniest thing I ever heard. You're completely ridiculous. Yes? In love with me?
My darling, when a young man in his right mind huffs and puffs and carries on about moonlight rides, I do not diagnose it as asthma.
How do you know it's me?
He as much as told me.
What, to your face?
Well, that is where people usually tell me things. But he doesn't know that you're married. And he doesn't know that you're married to me. We're educating him to both those startling facts at tea.
Well, it's a ghastly notion. It's like the second act of a bad play.
My very words. Polite comedy. No yucks.
I'll duck out. Severe headache, you tell him. Break his heart with my blessing.
No. You stay here, Vicky. After all, you created this situation. You were just too tantalizing in his classroom.
Gosh, I wasn't tantalizing at all. I never opened my mouth.
Silent women are the most intriguing in the world, my dear. The Mona Lisa speaks volumes.
Well, I was no Mona Lisa either. Come to think of it, I did speak up once. I asked if I could close the window. It was drafty in there.
You see, you tantalized him.
According to that theory, a woman is deliberately tantalizing if she speaks up or shuts up. I don't think you have a very high opinion of women.
On the contrary, Vicky, some of my best friends are women, including my wife and my mother.
Well, I don't like women at all. I like fellas.
Well, I'm not sure I approve of your use of the plural, but you're going in the right direction. You remember the old Chinese legend of how women were created?
No.
Well, when Twashti, the creator, wished to give man a helpmate, he found that he had used up all his materials creating men. So he fashioned a blend. He took the lightness of the leaf, the glance of the fawn, the gaiety of the sun's rays, the tears of the mist, the inconstancy of the wind, the timidity of the hare, and the vanity of the peacock, the harshness of the diamond, and the softness of the down on the throat of a swallow, the chill of snow, the warmth of fire, the cruelty of the tiger, the sweet flavor of honey, the chatter of the magpie, and the cooing of the turtle dove. He melted all these things together and fashioned woman. From that day forth, men have been unable to live without women and unable to live with them.
As a representative of all the delighted and insulted women of the world, I thank you. You cad.
Do you remember the last time I was jealous of you?
Oh, I certainly do. While you were courting me in London. There was that actor in our company who looked at me cross-eyed once or twice. You were furious. I don't even remember his name.
Oh, I do. It was hyphenated. Colin Mumford Jones. And from that day to this, I haven't been able to abide a hyphen in a name. You know, I remember when I discovered that he wanted to make love to you off stage as well as on. It was that afternoon when we went to visit the National Gallery.
You sulked.
Oh, no.
Amidst all those beautiful, immortal works of art, you sulked, Toddy.
Every beautiful woman in every picture frame was you, Vicky.
Oh, darling.
And I was ready to do battle against all my enemies, inside and outside the frame. It was one of those rare London days, do you remember? The sun in a clean blue sky, washed by an all-night rain. We walked from your flat all the way to the National Gallery.
How do you like our National Gallery, Dr. Hall?
It's a bit drafty, I'm afraid. I feel so sorry for some of Mr. Tisham's reclining women. He didn't overindulge in overcoats, you notice. Oh.
That is quite a picture.
Cleopatra, Queen of Egypt. She looks just like you.
That's a very sweet compliment. But do you think I brood that much? And are my eyes really the color of the Nile?
The rivers of all the world do not match your eyes, O Queen of Egypt. I, the noblest Roman of them all, Julius Caesar, Rex Imperator, tell you this. There is a tide in the affairs of men which, taken at the flood, leads on to fortune, and you are my fortune, Cleopatra. But what is that Marcus Antonius doing? Looking at you, cross-eyed. Marcus Antonius. Now, there's a hyphenated name if I ever heard one.
Let's move on to the next picture, Mrs. Caesar.
Step 2, Vicky. Look here. Isn't she lovely?
Anne Boleyn.
Yes, Anne Boleyn, once Queen of England. The beloved, though temporary, wife of King Henry VIII.
I suppose she looks like me, too.
She lives in you. The fire, the magic.
Well, you're not fat enough to be Henry VIII.
To the headsman, woman, for you have betrayed me. Whilst I was busy signing documents with Cardinal Wolsey, eating a bare 10 or 12 meals a day, you were philandering with Lord Rensselaer Twitchler. Rensselaer Twitchler. Now, there's another hyphenated name.
There's someone at the door, Toddy.
From the National Gallery. Now, that's ridiculous, now, dear. How could there? Oh, yes, the door. Yes, it must be our guest.
Where were you, Toddy? What were you daydreaming about?
Oh, I was sulking in the National Gallery.
And now you've framed me again. Well, go on to the door. I'll set the tea things up in a perfect isosceles triangle.
All right.
Good afternoon, Dr. Hall.
Oh, come in, Brooke. No, it's Bentley, Brooke, isn't it? Yes, with a hyphen.
I hope I'm not too early.
No. The triangle is all set, and I mean the tea things are all set.
It's so kind of you to take an interest in my problems. What? Miss Cromwell.
May I present my wife, Miss Cromwell, to you, Mrs. Hall to me.
Hello.
Well, this is a surprise.
Yes, we thought you'd be surprised.
Won't you sit down?
Thank you, Miss Cromwell.
Mrs. Hall.
Well, I've known her in my classroom, and it seems a little strange. Suddenly, she's the president's wife.
But, of course, it didn't happen quite as suddenly as you might think. Now, we are all intelligent people, so I think we should come right to the point.
Well, it's very kind of you, Dr. Hall, to concern yourself with my personal problem.
Well, if it doesn't concern me, I'd like to know whom it does concern.
Well, not every college president would be so considerate.
Well, my dear sir, not every college president has a wife like mine.
I'm sure college life would be more wonderful if they did.
Oh, why, Mr. Brooke, what a nice compliment.
Now, stop tantalizing, Vicky.
The coincidence of your wife's being in my class makes this a little easier. Because, you see, she knows the young lady.
Yes, I'm sure she... I beg your pardon.
She knows the young lady. It's Louise. Miss Turner. You know, the blonde one in the front row who always crosses her... The blonde one in the front row.
The blonde one.
Oh, the frizzed-out blonde, eh?
You know her too, Dr. Hall?
No.
Well, then, I think you should meet her. Would you like to?
Well, it'd be one of the great pleasures of my life.
Well, she's right out in the car.
In the car?
You see, after class today... Well, this is the most amazing coincidence. She came up and invited me to tea. I told her I already had one invitation, but she promised to wait. I don't mind 2 teas in one day at all.
Yes, I shouldn't wonder.
You don't think it's presumptuous of me to bring her along?
Oh, by no means. And don't keep her waiting in the car. Have her come in.
Thank you, Dr. Hall. Miss Turner, Louise, won't you come in?
You said it.
Well, Vicky, don't look so heartbroken.
I've lost my touch. I'm no longer Cleopatra.
Oh, lost your touch, my eyebrow. Why, I would have fallen in love with you no matter how much competition your husband was. Man has no taste. Makes me furious.
Here she is. Dr. and Mrs. Hall, may I present Miss Louise Turner.
Hello, honey. Jesus, you're Mrs. Hall.
You can still call me honey.
But, Professor, she's the one who gave me the advice about asking you to tea. I didn't know exactly what you'd do at a tea, but I went ahead and asked him, and, well, it worked.
Very fresh personality, don't you think?
Oh, yes, indeed. Yes. Won't you come in?
Well, we really should be running along. One thing, Dr. Hall, you haven't said yet whether this is protocol, whether it's all right.
I hereby make a new college rule. All professors may fall in love with all students, be it spring or fall, be it the season of the nesting of the birds or the rising of the sap.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Hall.
And, one slight amendment. Both professor and student should preferably be single.
Well, then it's all right. Goodbye, Dr. Hall. Goodbye, Mrs. Hall. You've been most kind.
Imagine getting a peek inside the powerhouse, and I've only been here 3 weeks. By the time I'm a senior, I ought to be rooming here.
Well, we're off. Where would you like to go, Miss Turner?
Well, to tea, I guess.
Take her to the art gallery. Show her Cleopatra and Anne Boleyn.
Oh, that's a good suggestion. Goodbye.
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 Goodbye. Well, I don't understand it. Why is it that brilliant, apparently erudite men invariably fall for frizzy blondes with giggles?
But, darling, you're brilliant. You're erudite. Oh, dear. I'll have to practice.
Would you like to go to tea, Dr. Hall?
Oh, to heck with the tea. Throw it out. Get me a bottle of beer.
When there's beer on your mind, your best thought is Schlitz, the beer that made Milwaukee famous. More people like the taste of Schlitz than any other beer. That's why Schlitz is the largest selling beer in America.
And now here again are Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Coleman.
Good night, everybody.
We'll be seeing you next week at the same time at the Halls of Ivy, starring Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Coleman. The other players were Sandra Gould, Ken Peters, Helen Crutchfield, and Mari Alden. Tonight's script was written by Lawrence and Lee and Don Quinn. Music was composed and conducted by Henry Russell. The Halls of Ivy was created by Don Quinn, directed by Nat Wolf, and tonight presented transcribed by the Joseph Schlitz Brewing Company of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Ken Carpenter speaking.
Oh, we love the halls of ivy that surround us here today, and we will not forget though we be far, far away.
Now, enjoy The Great Gildersleeve. Then it's Groucho Marx on NBC.
Mr. Allen, Mr. Allen.
It isn't a friend of Gladys Sabisco's, Kiddies.
The makers of Bluebonnet Margarine and Tenderleaf Tea present The Fred Allen Show with Fred's guests Bill Baker, Portland Hoffa, Minerva Pius as Mrs. Nussbaum, Alan Reed as Falstaff Openshaw, the Tenderleaf Workshop Players, the DeMarco Sisters, and Al Goodman and his orchestra. And if you're wondering who plays Senator Claghorn, my name is Kenny Delmar. This week, ladies and gentlemen, Bing Crosby's sponsor started suit to get Bing to go back on the air. Tonight we bring you a man whose sponsor is thinking of starting suit to get him off the air, and here he is, Fred Allen. Thank you.
Thank you, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And Kenny, I was reading about that Bing Crosby suit. You know, I don't really think that Bing wants to work. I hear he's moving to Stamford. Well, we're off to a nice dull start. Anything that happens from now on will be a highlight.
Well, what about your sponsor, Fred?
Well, our sponsor I believe he thinks we're a little behind the times with our show, Kenny.
Well, how do you mean?
Well, all of the other radio programs don't bother with entertainment anymore. They're just giving things away. Jack Benny's giving away $10,000. Bob Hope's giving away Jeeps. And Red Skelton is giving away automobiles.
Yeah, well, don't you think you should give something away, Fred?
I was just going to announce it, Kenny. Attention, ladies and gentlemen. Starting next week, to every person who wins an automobile on Red Skelton's program, I will give a road map. I'll even open it at the party 2 weeks. I'll even open the road map.
Well, that ought to cause plenty of talk.
Yes. And it's the kind of talk I don't want to be around to hear, Kenny. I have enough trouble the way things are. Well, Portland. Kenny and I were just talking about radio programs giving things away.
Oh, radio is wonderful.
Well, how do you mean?
My uncle was on a program called Blind Date.
Oh, what happened?
His number was called, and he had to take out a chorus girl.
I see.
Next day, they both went on a program called People Are Funny, and he proposed to her.
He did, huh?
Then they went on a program called Honeymoon in New York and got married over 150 stations.
150 stations. Good.
Then they went on Truth or Consequences and won enough furniture for their house.
They lived happily ever after?
No. They went on Battle of the Sexes and had a big fight.
Well, is the marriage off?
Well, we won't know until tomorrow.
Well, what's tomorrow?
They're on Mr. Anthony's program.
They have completed their happy kilocycle, in other words. But you know, you can almost get anything in radio today.
But sometimes things go wrong.
Well, how do you mean?
Mama wrote a limerick for the National Barn Dance Contest.
And something went wrong?
Instead of the first prize of 100 bottles of Alka-Seltzer,
yeah,
they sent her 2 hillbillies.
2 hillbillies. Well, how did your mother, with her broken lorgnette, know that... Mother, with that limp lorgnette that hangs down so she can't look through it, how did she know the difference?
Well, she put one of the hillbillies in water.
And?
He didn't fizz.
Oh, well, that would give it away. Probably made the water good and dirty, though. But speaking of fizzes, reminds me, we better start thinking of getting along to see those old familiar fizzes down in Allen's Alley.
What is your question for tonight?
Well, Portland, this week the New York movie critics made their annual awards for the outstanding films and performances of 1945. And so this evening our question is, if you are a movie fan, what pictures and performances impressed you most during the past year?
Shall we go?
As the druggist said when he had a headache, I think I'll take a powder. Well, Portland, here we are back in Allen's Alley. Say, the senator's home tonight. His hound dog is curled up there under the porch. See it?
Somebody now.
Yes, I know.
Claghorn's the name, Senator Claghorn.
I know. You're from Dixie.
When I eat crackers in bed, I only eat Georgia crackers.
Now, wait a minute.
When I leave New York, I always take the South Ferry.
Now, wait a look.
Way down upon
the Swanee River.
Look, you're a little...
I'm singing Swanee, son.
Well, I know what you're singing.
Show some reverence, son. Kneel down and uncover.
Now, wait.
Stop eating your gum, son.
Now, just let
me talk for a change. Change, that is.
You let me get a word in.
Keep chattering, son.
I don't even get a chance.
Your tongue is going like a cow's tail in fly time.
Now, wait. While you're taking in a little wind, Senator, do you mind if I intersperse something in here? What was Washington's reaction to the choice of the most popular movie stars?
We took our own poll in Congress.
You did?
Everybody was talking all at once. Even Senator Brooks was babbling.
Yep.
Babbling Brooks, that's a joke.
I know it.
Galveston Guffaw.
I don't care.
Savannah Socceroo.
Look, I don't care.
I crack wires and you look dumb.
I'm looking at
Hold up, son. You're subnormal. Stop that in.
Now, wait. Be careful how low you go, even in water, Senator. Now, you watch that sub stuff. Now, look, about these Hollywood stars. Are you a movie fan?
I quit going to movies, son.
Well, why?
Last picture I saw made my down yonder blood boil.
Your down yonder blood was boiling, eh? Well, what happened?
At the end of the picture, Ann Southern married Cary Grant.
But why?
I couldn't stand to see another Grant taking anything Southern.
Go on, Senator. Go on. Well, goodbye, Senator. Go on. Well, the senator must have just finished dinner. I smelled a little hog jowl on his breath. Oh, well, I wonder, let's get along down the alley. I wonder what Titus Moody has on his mind tonight.
Howdy, Bob.
Mr. Moody, you look a little weary tonight.
Yeah, I've had tough sledding all week.
Well, why should you have tough sledding?
No snow.
Oh, well. Tell me, Mr. Moody, how do you feel about these movie awards?
Boris Karloff should have won.
You think that he's the best actor?
No, it ain't his acting.
Well, what makes you such an ardent Karloff fan?
Well, I'll tell you. I got a big wart on my Adam's apple.
Oh, a wart, eh?
Yeah, it's right here under my collar button.
I see it there.
When I put on my collar, the collar button presses against the wart.
Yeah?
The wart presses against my Adam's apple.
Uh-huh.
I'm in agonizing pain.
Oh, what?
The only pleasure I've had for 10 years, I owe Boris Karloff.
Well, how do you mean?
Well, when I go into theater, my collar button is pressing against the wart.
Yeah?
The wart's pressing against my Adam's apple.
Uh-huh.
I'm in agonizing pain.
Yes?
Then Boris Karloff comes on the screen.
Yes?
My flesh starts to creep.
Yes?
The wart creeps up over my collar.
Yes?
I can't explain the feeling. It's utopia.
When the picture is over...
Then the wart creeps back down. The collar button starts pressing. I'm in agonizing pain again.
Well, as far as you and your wart are concerned, outside of Boris Karloff...
All them other Hollywood actors is just a pain in the neck. So long, Bob.
So long. Well, when Boris Karloff is in town, Mr. Moody's wart is going places. Now, let's see what happens next door here.
No.
Oh, Mrs. Nussbaum.
You were expecting maybe Olivia de Havilland?
Tell me, Mrs. Nussbaum, are you a movie fan?
Not me, my husband, Pierre.
Oh, Pierre likes pictures, huh?
Every day you're seeing movies, always in Technicolor.
Oh, Technicolor, huh?
To Pierre, every picture is looking Technicolor.
Well, how come?
His eyes are bloodshot.
But don't seeing so many movies bother Pierre?
Always he is coming home with different personalities.
Well, how do you mean?
Pierre is seeing a picture with Ronald Coleman.
Yeah?
He is making with an English accent.
Oh, really?
He is opening the door and saying, "What machst du, old crumpet?"
What machst du, old crumpet, huh?
Also, sei gesund and cheerio.
And he's certainly cultured, what?
He is seeing in a picture Bingley Crosby.
Yes?
Around the house, Pierre is singing,
I see.
When Pierre sings Bob Hope,
Yes?
he is making with rice crackles.
Well, say, with such a versatile husband, you must be very happy.
I am getting a divorce.
Well, why?
Last week, Pierre is singing a picture of Tarzan.
So?
He is refusing to leave home.
You mean you can't get him into the house?
I can't get him down from the tree.
Well, here we are at the last shack in Allen's Alley. I wonder what a knock will bring here.
Sound the trumpets, round me rally, Falstaff's back in Allen's Alley.
Falstaff, open show. Welcome return, Falstaff. Happy homecoming.
Thank you, all right.
Where have you been?
I have been enjoying a sabbatical on the Bowery.
Oh, you've been coining new dactyls?
Oh, indubitably.
Really?
Have you heard, said the bumblebee to the little flea, don't touch that stuff, it's DDT?
No.
Or, as the waiter said when he brought the horseradish, I hope that covers your beef?
No.
How about this? My mother is lonesome when she goes to a fire. LaGuardia isn't there, and neither is O'Dwyer.
Now, wait a minute. That is, you've overdone it finally, Falstaff. Tonight, we're simply discussing the Critics' Awards for the best films of 1945.
Precisely why I greyhounded in. I have contrived an epic.
A poem about the movie awards? What is it called?
The Forgotten Award.
And how does it go?
Each year, the critics give awards to pictures and to actors. The direction and performances they term deciding factors. Paramount is cited, an award to movie tone, a plaque to Ingrid Bergman. Even Lassie gets a bone. I hail the movie industry, but I also must remind it that an award should be awarded to the man who is behind it. This guy makes Hollywood possible. He's not director, star, or picket. He's just the average man who digs down and buys a ticket.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Falstaff. Thank you. And from the rancid rhymes of Bard Openshaw, we turn to the refreshing refrains of the Five DeMarco sisters, accompanied by Maestro Al Goodman and his United Nations Ensemble. The DeMarco sing The Moment I Met You.
Got the funniest feeling, didn't know what to do. See, my heart began reeling the moment I met you. Didn't know about kissing till I got it from you. Then a problem was missing the moment I met you. I looked around to touch the ground and found an old angel stopped where she had dropped right from out of the sky. Every night of Thanksgiving, for a feeling that's new, I at last began living the moment I met you. I looked around to touch the ground, down about an old eye, and angel stopped where she had dropped right from out of the sky, right from out of the sky. I sang hallelujah when suddenly knew I was on the right to ya. The moment I met you, the moment I met you, the very moment, the moment I met you.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, something for the book.
Yes, here's one for the book about delicious food that's everybody's topic. Here's a swell dish for a cold winter day. Griddle cakes, golden brown piping hot griddle cakes with some crackling sausages to the side. And lots of Bluebonnet on top. Yes, I said Bluebonnet, the margarine that gives you flavor, nutrition, economy. All three. Bluebonnet has a delicious flavor, fresh, delicate, country sweet, and it keeps its delicate, delightful flavor even when half melted on piping hot food. Bluebonnet margarine is packed with nutrition, too. Rich in food energy, rich in vitamin A. As for economy, Bluebonnet saves you real money. It costs so little you can spread it on twice as thick, and boy, you'll want to. And don't forget, Bluebonnet margarine is a product of the makers of Fleischmann's yeast. That fact alone tells you it must be good. Ask your grocer for Bluebonnet tomorrow. Remember the letters FNE for flavor, nutrition, economy. Bluebonnet margarine gives all three: flavor, nutrition, economy.
That was I Am Always Chasing Rainbows, another in the Maestro Al Goodman series of remnant rhapsodies. Say, Portland,
Yes?
has that lawyer called me yet?
Lawyer? Are you in trouble?
Am I in trouble? All week I've been in more hot water than a slice of lemon in a Russian tea room. I am out on bail right now.
Gosh, what happened?
Well, you've read that line in some other program we've had. That's very reminiscent. Well, Portland, you want to know what happened? The whole thing started last Sunday night after the broadcast. You know, I generally go over to the Hamburger Hovel on 8th Avenue. For a nickel over there, they serve a hamburger as big as a catcher's mitt. Even a buckle in the back of the hamburger. They put the piccalilli on with a trowel. Well, I took a cab at Radio City, and we were driving along the street. We had gone a few blocks when the driver said...
you said the Hamburger Hovel, didn't you, Bud?
Yes, driver.
Okay. I'm as busy as a termite in the woodwork. I'm as jumpy as a yo-yo on a string. Boy, can that Sinatra write music.
Say, driver, just a minute, driver. Stop the cab.
Okay. Something wrong, chump?
I just felt in my pocket. My wallet's gone. I must have left it at the studio.
You mean you ain't got no dough?
Well, I haven't any money with me.
This is a buck even. Get it up, Chisler.
Now, well, look, if you'll just take me back to Radio City...
So you can beat it out the other door, huh? I had that pull on me before, chump. Where's that crank handle?
Now, look, driver.
Come on, out of the cab. I'm going to crown you with this crank handle.
Now, wait a minute.
Take this. You rats, you duck.
Now, don't lose your head, driver.
You broke my window.
I broke your window. You broke the window.
Well, if you'd have stood still, I'd have hit you.
Now, look.
$1 on the meter, $7 for the window. That's $8 you owe me.
Now, I'll pay you the money. Don't get excited. Your blood pressure will go up, driver. I'm Fred Allen.
Sure, and I'm Jack Benny. Look, no hair.
Yeah.
Quit stalling, wise guy. Give me $8.
Say, look, driver. Look, across the street there.
It's a radio studio, so what?
Well, that sign. It says tonight, Phil Baker in Take It or Leave It.
So what?
Say, I've got an idea. Now, Phil Baker's program goes on the air in about 5 minutes. I'll go on Take It or Leave It. I'll change my name. Phil Baker won't even know who I am. I'll answer 4 of those easy questions. I'll quit with the $8. You'll have your money. Now, is it a deal?
Okay. But you better win, brother. I got insurance.
Insurance?
This crank handles me insurance. Let's go.
All right. Well, Portland, the cab driver and I got into the radio studio just in time. Luck was with me. My number was called. I was chosen as a contestant. I was sitting on the stage. The cab driver was glaring at me from the front row when I heard the announcer say,
Presenting Take It or Leave It, starring Phil Baker. Yes, Take It or Leave It, the most exciting game you ever played. The game that doubles in interest with every question asked. The game with the giant jackpot. And now we give you the man with the $64 question, our paymaster of ceremonies, and here he is, Phil Baker.
Thank you, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the halls of Montezuma. Boy, there are plenty of people here tonight. I haven't seen such a crowd since the window shade in Betty Grable's dressing room fell down. But I really feel swell. You know, last Sunday night, Secretary Burns was pinch hitting for me, answering some Russian $64 questions. So I went to Florida for a rest. Florida. Folks, there is a state. That's where the sun goes to get away from that California weather. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time to go to Florida, though. You go down there, your face is white. You get a great tan. You check out of the hotel, get your bill, and you turn white again. Those prices in Miami. I had a room overlooking a grapefruit for $18 a day. And speaking of grapefruit, here's our first contestant. What is your name, miss?
Shirley S. Gum.
Shirley S. Gum. What does the S stand for?
Spearman.
Where's your home, Shirley?
I live in Brooklyn.
And what is your occupation, Shirley?
I work in Bloomingdale's. I'm a laugher.
A laugher at Bloomingdale's?
Yeah, when women come in and ask for nylons, I laugh at them.
You laugh at them. I've heard of let a smile be your umbrella, but let a laugh be your nylons is a new one on me. Now, Miss Gum, What category have you selected from the board?
Popular music.
Good. Popular music. For $1, what is the name of this popular song? All right. What is the name of that popular song?
Popular? I never heard of it.
It's very popular.
It ain't in Brooklyn.
Now think. What was that song? Chick.
3 chicks in a check?
No.
Chicory chick. Yeah, I think I got it, Mr. Baker. Is it chicory chick?
Did you hear somebody yell that in the audience?
Did somebody yell something? You know, I'm as deep as a haddock.
Yeah.
I was born with 2 cauliflower ears. My mother was in the Golden Globe.
Well, all right. I'm going to give you the $1. Would you like to try it with 2?
Nah, give me the $1.
You're quitting?
Yeah, my boyfriend's a counterfeiter. He just wants a sample.
I see.
Come on.
Well, that brings us to our next contestant. And your name, sir?
Prentice Pontoon.
Prentice Pontoon. Did you receive a present before you came up to the microphone?
Yes, sir. An ever-sharp fountain pen.
Right, and it's guaranteed not for years, not for life, but guaranteed forever.
Yes, sir.
You look a little nervous. Would you like a cup of tea?
I thought you served coffee, Mr. Baker.
Not on this program. You'll take tea or a drink of hot bluebonnet margarine.
No, thanks.
You say your name is...
Prentice Pontoon.
Did anyone ever tell you that you looked like Fred Allen?
Yes, I've been beaten up twice by radio listeners.
You've even got bags under your eyes like Allen.
Yes, I know.
What is your occupation, Mr. Pontoon?
I am an oculist in a fish market.
Oculist in a fish market.
When they lay a lot of dead fish in a fish market window,
yes,
I check on their eyes to make sure the fish are all looking in the same direction.
I see.
If one fish is looking the other way, it throws the whole window off.
Yes. You're just working for the halibut.
Yes.
Now, you know, I get people on this program with the darndest occupation.
Really?
One guy works in a restaurant on 2nd Avenue. He's a lentil feeler.
A lentil feeler?
Yes. If you order lentil soup, he puts his hand in and feels your lentils. Yeah. He takes out the hard lentils so they won't hurt your gums.
He does messy work.
Yes, that's a joke, sir.
I just want
Another guy is a booster at the automat. When midgets come into the automat, he boosts them up so that they can see what dishes are in the top compartment.
Well, that's nice work.
Another guy is a perfume advisor in a 5 and 10 cent store.
A perfume advisor?
Yes. When you take the top off a bottle, he tells you if what you smell is the perfume or another customer.
Oh, you have some odd characters on your program, Mr. Baker.
Tonight, especially. What would you like to talk about, Mr. Pontoon?
Well, I think...
How about movie stars, world history, music?
World history.
All right, Mr. Pontoon, for $1. Take it easy now.
Yes.
Who is the President of the United States? No coaching, please.
The President. He was on the radio last Thursday instead of Abbott and Costello.
That's right. He said to Congress, "You're bad boys." What's the President's name? Think now.
Herman Truman.
Well, that's close enough. Okay, you have $1.
Hey, you're okay, chum.
Quiet, please. No help from the audience. Do you want to try for $2, Mr. Pontoon?
He better.
Well, what do you say?
Well, you heard him. I'll try for $2.
Good. When you see pictures of Napoleon with his hand inside of his coat, what modern cartoon character does he remind you of?
Itchy.
Itchy is correct. Right. You're a very intelligent young man.
He better be intelligent.
Wyatt, who is this character in the audience? A friend of yours?
The next 2 questions will decide.
Who was he waving that crank handle at?
Well, he ordered a new car, but so far the crank handle is all he's gotten from General Motors.
Okay, Mr. Pontoon, for $4. What brand of tea was used at the Boston Tea Party?
Tenderleaf tea.
Tenderleaf tea is absolutely correct. Now, for $8, Mr. Pontoon, why did Sitting Bull sit down?
Would you repeat the question, please, Mr. Baker?
For $8, why did Sitting Bull sit down?
He was waiting for the cows to come home.
No. Do you give up?
Well,
You'll be sorry.
His suspenders broke?
No. You don't know, do you?
Frankly, I don't, Mr.
Well,
Baker.
I'm sorry. Sitting Bull sat down because in those days there were so many things he couldn't stand for. See? Sorry, stand by for the giant jackpot.
Yes, sir, Mr. Baker. Well, Portland, after I lost the giant jackpot, too, and the program was over, I sneaked out the side door. The cab driver and the crank handle were waiting for me. I didn't have the money, so I offered him the fountain pen Phil Baker had given me. The cab driver said...
A fountain pen? First you chiseled me out of $8, now you want me to learn how to write, eh? Police!
Now, wait a minute, driver. This pen is worth $20. You'll be making $12. You can sell it to somebody.
You sell it to somebody. All I want is $8.
Okay. The people are coming out of the broadcast now. I'll go around in front of the theater and sell it to someone.
Me and the crank handle will be sitting in the cab waiting. Make it snappy.
Gad, what a predicament. At my age, a sidewalk peddler. Well, the audience is coming out. I'll try this guy here. Hey, buddy.
Yes?
I got a $20 fountain pen. It's yours for $8. Look, under my coat.
Look under my coat.
A badge. You're a detective.
Yeah, I've been looking for you, Black Market Mo.
But, officer...
First it was fake almond bars with stones in them. Now it's hot fountain pens.
But I'm not Black Market Mo. I'm Fred Allen. I just got this fountain pen and take it or leave it. Honest, look. Here's Phil Baker coming out of the theater. Phil can identify me. Phil. Hey, Phil.
Hello, Mr. Baker.
Hello, officer. What's the trouble?
Tell him who I am, Phil. You know me. I'm Fred Allen.
You know this character, Mr. Baker?
Yes, I know him.
Tell him who I am, Phil.
Why, he's Prentice Pontoon.
Phil. I'm Fred Allen on the radio.
You're an oculist in a fish market.
Thanks, Mr. Baker. Come on, you. But, Phil, don't let him take me to court. I'll have to do time.
You bet you will.
But
for selling an Evershaw pen on the street, you'll go to jail not for years, not for life, but forever.
Okay, Black Market Mo, let's go.
And now, Kenny, with a flattering word about the American woman.
All over the world, the American woman is famous for her beauty. Her home is the ideal in other lands, too, and the way she runs it. She is practical about her home, her appearance, her dress, all her shopping. And it's being so practical it makes her choose Tenderleaf T-balls over all others. Yes, Tenderleaf T-balls are better in every way. That's why they're the largest selling T-balls in America. They provide finer tea, rich in fragrance, richer in flavor, made with famous for flavor Tenderleaf brand tea. Their greater convenience is a big help, too. Individual packets of tasteless filter paper, crisp white and appealing, ready any time to drop into your cup for a cup of quick comfort when you need it most. That's all there is to it. Just add boiling water and your quick comfort is ready. Heartwarming, delicious, crystal clear Tenderleaf tea. So for every good reason, ask your grocer for Tenderleaf brand T-balls.
Thank you, Kenny. Thanks, Phil Baker. Next week, ladies and gentlemen, our guest will be the eminent Shakespearean actor and star of Hamlet, Maurice Evans. Thanks a lot for joining us, and good night. Good night. Thank you. Good night. Thank you.
This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.